back in the press box for his second season on the call for every home game this season. Visit us online at youtube.com/MLB Academy Barons to catch every home game this season. On behalf of the Barons and the CCL, we do thank you in advance for your cooperation in following all of the new policies. And we hope you enjoy your entire fan experience through Youth Academy and the Showcase.
They're good, right?
Starting lineups just around the
Did they
corner.
win it 2 years ago or something like that?
All right, fans of the staff, break up those pencils, scorecards. It's lineup time. Let's read the starting lineups for this evening's contest. First, let's read the starting lineup of the visiting San Luis Obispo Blues. Playing off and playing at the shortstop position, player number 55, out of Louisiana Lafayette, Sam Artois. Batting second, the starting first baseman, out of the college number 14, Whitney Alves. Batting third, the starting center fielder, out of Cal State College number 40, Logan High. In the cleanup spot and playing in right field out of Texas, number 18, Donovan Jordan. Batting fifth, tonight's designated hitter out of Santa Clara, number 26, Andrew Lehman. In the sixth spot and playing in left field on a Harvard, number 10, Gavin Smith. In the seventh spot, the
I don't know why you said
Brendan Coverboy. Batting eighth, the battery for the Blues, and doing the catching, as San Francisco State number 28, Kevin Andrews. Batting at the starting second baseman, out of Northeastern State, number 7, Diego Murillo.
Also.
Starting pitcher is evening for the Blues, right-handed pitcher at Cuesta, number 8, Jackson Howell. Coaching staff for the Blues, assisted by Brian Trainer, with Rene Regalado and Paul Teixeira. The field manager of the Blues, Dean Trainer. Ladies and gentlemen, the visiting San Luis Obispo Blues.
Nickerson's gone.
Now, let's begin with the starting lineup of the home team, your Major League Baseball Academy Barons. Leading off and playing at second base, out of Santa Ana College, number 6, Nathaniel Williams. Batting second, the starting shortstop, out of Campbell University, number 17, DJ Akiyama. Batting third, the starting first baseman, out of Fullerton College, number 40, Trevor Schmidt. In the cleanup spot, the battery for the Barons, and doing the catching, out of LA Valley, number 25, Gavin Taylor. Batting fifth in the designated hitter spot, out of Vanderbilt, number 47, Tommy Goodings.
Spencer Calvo has a
In the sixth spot and playing in left field, out of Sonoma State, number 23, Jason Delmion. Batting seventh and playing in right field, out of Cal State East Bay, number 18, Jacob Klinowski. Batting eighth and playing in center field, out of the Missouri Pacific, number 32, Antonio Ruhai. Batting ninth at the hot corner at third base, out of the University of Hawaii, number 8, J.J. Nielsen. The starting pitcher this evening for the Barons, left-handed pitcher out of the Missouri Pacific, number 14, Joe Tornero. The coaching staff for the Barons, assisted by James Bishop, Lorenzo Crane, Chambers, and Jonathan Gazarian. The field manager for the Barons, Kenny Landro. The head of running trainer for Barons Baseball, Steve Jubner. The director of operations, Terry Jordan. Ladies and gentlemen, your Major League Baseball Academy Barons. Ladies and gentlemen of the time we ask that you please rise in your label and please remove your masks. As for the United States of America, and those who serve our country at home and abroad, the playing of our national anthem. Thank you.
Game 1 of 3 in a SoCal swing in Southern California. First off, it's the Academy Barons here in Compton, California, at the facility of the MLB Youth Academy. The Blues coming off a 3-0 win against the Arroyo Seco Saints, and they look to stay hot as they fight for a playoff spot in the CCL North. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the SLO Blue Streaming Network. My name is Nate Mills on the call for you tonight as the Blues take on the Academy Barons here in Southern California. Nice change of pace after being in NorCal all this time. Some non-CCL North action, but these games matter just as much as the Blues look to bolster their 6-6 conference record, and the Academy looks to change it around with a 4-game losing streak right now. The Barons are playing in their 10th game of the summer. The Blues are number 20. Academy is 2-7, while San Luis Obispo is 12-7. Here's the starting lineup for the San Luis Obispo Blues. The shortstop Sam Ardois leads it off. Brady Alves plays third and bats second, and the 3-hole hitter is Logan Hart, the center fielder, who made his debut yesterday. Don Jordan, the right fielder, will clean it up with Andrew Raymond DHing and batting fifth. Gavin Smith is the left fielder batting sixth, with Brendan Comerford batting seventh and playing at first base. Cam Andrews throws down the signs batting eighth, and Diego Murillo is the second baseman, rounding it out in the ninth spot for the Blues. The defensive alignment for the MLB Youth Academy Barons: behind the dish, it's Taylor. Trevor Schmidt, former Blue, over at first base. Williams at second with J.J. Nielsen at third. Akiyama at shortstop. In the outfield left to right is Del Villar, Lujan, and Klanovsky, with Gooden DHing for the Barons. And on the mound for the Academy, it's Joel Tornero, the left-handed pitcher from Azusa Pacific, and he will face Ardois, Alves, and Hart to begin this ball game at the Youth Academy. Ardois got a day off yesterday against the Arroyo Seco Saints. Check that. Ardois batted ninth against the Arroyo Seco Saints last night, went 1 for 3 with a double in the third inning. And he looks to put the Blues on the right track here in Southern California. Tornero gets his sign and comes set. With a deep sigh, we're underway. First pitch misses high at 6:06 p.m. 1-0 to Sam Ardois. The pitch, and Sam leaves a curveball low, 2 balls and no strikes. And Ardois had that double yesterday, a ground ball out to the second baseman Little, and struck out looking in the 6th. Ardois has really found his power stroke this summer as well with the Blues. 2-0. Pitch is popped up and fouled out of play for strike one. It's been so much fun watching him progress into a new type of ball game. 622 slugging, 11 hits, 4 doubles, and a home run. He's driven in 4 for the Blues. He wasn't that type of guy last year in San Luis Obispo, but he's really grown. 2-1. Artois, it's a curveball missing low. 3 balls and a strike to Sam. Making his 9th start in a Blues uniform this summer. Struck out 6 times to his 3 walks. The 3-1. Artois swings, hits it off the end of the bat. Nielsen at third. Across the diamond over to first in time to retire Artois for the first out of the inning. Ground ball out from the pitcher Tornero. We're underway in the first. Blues in Compton, California at the Youth Academy. A very nice setup here on the campus of Compton College. The Tartars. The Tartars play baseball in this field and very well maintained. Very nice dugouts. Very intimate setting, too. Brady Alves takes the first pitch off speed for strike 1. Alves batting second and playing third base today. Trying to pick up this season. 0-1. Brady flinches, but it misses outside. A ball and a strike. A sub-100 batting average this summer for Alves. Only 2 hits in his 30 at-bats. 9 strikeouts to his 8 walks. 1-1. Alves swings and misses for strike 2. Redshirted his first season of college baseball at Butte Community College and trying to hit stride here in San Luis Obispo. 1-2. Pitch misses low and inside. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Alves did not play in yesterday's game against the Arroyo Seco Saints. He did get a start against the Sonoma Stompers, though, in Game 1 against Sonoma. 2-2. Alves off the end of the bat, diving at third, and can't make the play is Nielsen. Brady Alves, a 1-out single, and the first base hit of the day for the Blues. Just caught it off the end of the bat, but that'll do it. Brady Alves collecting his 3rd base hit of the summer over at first base, and it was a nice effort by J.J. Nielsen at third, too. Kind of falling slowly towards the third base line and just couldn't make the play. A valiant effort, but nothing to show for it. So now a runner on first for Logan Hart. Made his Blues debut yesterday against the Arroyo Seco Saints. First pitch to Hart is a called strike 0-1. In Logan's debut, he earned the Dog of the Day award, dubbed by our broadcasting booth. A 2-for-4 day with an RBI single. 0-1. Swing and a miss, strike 2. Also made an excellent play out in right field. I have it down as an F9 in the scorebook, and I feel like that just doesn't do it justice. Full body extension out in right yesterday at Sinsheimer, making a great catch. Swing and a miss, and that's strike 3 to Logan Hart. He gets struck out on 3 pitches. First strikeout of the day for Joel Tornero, and now it's Don Jordan, the cleanup man, digging in with 2 outs. Jordan in the transfer portal after a season at the University of Texas that was riddled with injuries. A hamate bone and then a rib. Playing competitive baseball consistently for the first time in about 8 months or so. First pitch to him misses outside, 1-0 to Jordan. Had a day off yesterday against the Saints, but started in Game 2 against the Stompers. A perfect 4-for-4 day against Sonoma. Pick over to first, and Alves is back in time. And the weird thing about that game against the Sonoma Stompers is that the Blues, including Jordan, had countless mistakes on the base paths. Jordan was picked off twice. And that's usually something the Blues rely on, is their chaos on the base paths, as Jordan fouls it into the shin of the catcher Taylor, who hobbles around and recovers. 1-1 to Don Jordan. Especially for Don, who speed kind of just speaks for himself. Fastest runner on this team for the Blues, and it doesn't matter if you're the fastest on the team if you're not paying attention on the base paths. And this is what was extra weird. Don is a smart base runner. That was then, this is now. A game against the Barons here in Compton. Brady Alves at first, shuffling off the bag. The 1-1. Jordan way too early on it and pops it up and out of play for strike 2. So a changeup for Tornero, was hunting it all the way, but just got the swing off a little too early. Andrew Raymond stands on deck for the Blues, one of the 2 left-handed hitters in today's lineup for San Luis Obispo. Alves at first with 2 outs. The 1-2. Jordan swings and misses for strike 3. So after a 1-out single from Brady Alves, back-to-back strikeouts from Joel Tornero, and we head to the bottom half of the first inning in Compton, California on the SLO Blues streaming network.
In the top of the first inning for the Blues, there were no runs on 1 hit. There were no errors. There was 1 left at base. Through half an inning,
Bottom of the first inning in Compton, California. The Barons coming up against the San Luis Obispo Blues. Blues recorded a hit in the top of the first inning. It was Brady Alves batting second today, collecting his 3rd base hit of the summer. He was stranded over at first after a couple strikeouts from Logan Hart and Don Jordan. Hart went down on 3 pitches. So now it's Jackson Howell making his 2nd start of the summer for the Blues. Pitched against the San Francisco Seagulls the last time he was out there, and he'll face Nathaniel Williams. Williams takes low for ball 1. Howell pitched in 5 innings, allowed 5 hits, 1 walk, and 6 strikeouts against San Francisco. Prior to that, a couple of appearances coming out of the bullpen for the Blues, which was interesting to see because he was a reliable starter last season for San Luis Obispo. Williams spoils this one to the right for strike 1. Kind of reflected in his 2nd season at Cuesta as well. A significant drop in playing time for Jackson Howell. No injuries to be reported for him. But it seems to be back in stride here with the Blues in his 2nd start. Williams tips this one into the backstop for strike 2. Nathaniel, a .478 batting average. 11 hits in his 23 at-bats to start the summer. He's seen it well. 1-2. Ground ball up the middle and a base hit for Williams. And just fueling that ridiculous batting average already. And a runner on first for the Barons. Just a nice and easy swing for Nathaniel Williams, the switch hitter. Just put bat to ball against Jackson Howell with not some crazy exit velo. The second baseman, Murillo, was shaded towards the pole side of Williams, who is hitting left-handed. That left the center of the field wide open for him to shoot the gap right up the middle. So here's DJ Akiyama. Switch hitter batting left-handed against the righty Howell. The first pitch, Akiyama swings and misses at a changeup for strike 1. DJ Akiyama coming into this game with a .346 batting average, 9 hits in his 26 at-bats so far this summer. Has walked and struck out the same amount of times, 5. 0-1. Akiyama with a chopper, and it will roll foul for strike 2. Akiyama, a Camel from Campbell University, a native of Oahu, Hawaii. A redshirt junior out on the East Coast in South Carolina, where Campbell was located. Average lead at first. Williams shuffles off the bag a bit more. Hal heard him and picks it back over to Comerford playing first base today, but Williams is in there safely. This past season with the Camels, Akiyama, a 167 batting average, only starting in 2 games, 2 hits in his 12 at-bats. 0-2. Swings and foul tips it right into the backstop. We'll do it again at 0-2. And that's not the whole story for Akiyama, though. Before fighting Camel at Campbell, a flying Hawaiian at Hawaii in 2024, and in 2022 at St. Martin's in the GNAC Conference. 0-2. Throws his bat at a chopper, and it's Murillo who flicks it over to Comerford at first. They retire Akiyama as Williams advances to second base on the ground ball out. There's a familiar face for San Luis Obispo. It's the left-handed hitting first baseman Trevor Schmidt. Schmidt played for the Blues a couple seasons ago. He was coming off a redshirt year at the University of Arizona. Then went to Fullerton College, committed to LSU, now back at Fullerton College. First pitch from Hal, and Schmidt leaves it outside, ball 1. Trevor, a .333 batting average in his 24 at-bats. Has hit a home run already this summer. Part of his 8 hits he has so far. He's driven in 3 as the 3-hitter for the Barons today. 1-0. Schmidt dances on a pitch inside. 2 balls and no strikes. Nathaniel Williams over at second base. He reached on a leadoff single in the bottom half of the first. Advanced into scoring position on the ground ball out from DJ Akiyama. From the stretch, Al gets his sign from Cam Andrews, the former Gator from San Francisco State. Look at second, the 2-0. And Schmidt a little tardy on this pitch as he spins it foul for strike 1. Schmidt on the 2-1 against Jackson Howe, going off a season, a 700 slugging. 2-1. And Schmidt puts a charge into this one to center field. Hart giving chase at the wall. At the warning track, he makes the grab. Williams was halfway towards third base. He thought that was going to fall off the bat from Schmidt. But a great play by Hart out in center to make the second out of the first. And Logan Hart has, in these 2 games he's played for the Blues so far, has displayed some pretty good defense for San Luis Obispo. Played right yesterday, made a great grab, and now in center today, E.J. Royal getting an off day against the Barons. So here's Gavin Taylor batting fourth, the first right-hander that Jackson Howe will face today. Williams still at second base after a leadoff single. That first pitch is a slider missing outside to Gavin Taylor for ball 1. Taylor a .222 average, just 4 hits in his 18 at-bats this summer for the Academy. Here's the 1-0. And a pitch misses low, not by much. Andrews tried to frame it, but it's 2 balls and no strikes to Gavin Taylor. From BYU, a native of Los Angeles, standing at 6'2", 210 pounds. Played in the Northwoods last summer with lacrosse. The 2-0. Pitch missing high. 3 straight balls from Hal. 3 balls and no strikes. In 2024, with the Cougars at BYU. Didn't get that much playing time. Only 5 games played, and at bat in each of those, and didn't record a base hit. 3 strikeouts and 1 walk, though. A 3-0 count here from Jackson Howell with 2 outs. A runner in scoring position for the Barons. Long hold. Here's the 3-0. Fastball down the middle for strike 1. Taylor this past season played at LA Valley College for the Monarchs. Much better year, much larger sample size. 358 average and a 610 slugging and 123 at-bats. The 3-1. Pitch misses high and tight, and that's ball 4 to Gavin Taylor. Taylor walked 29 times this past season with the Monarchs, and he records another walk here with 2 outs in the first. First free pass allowed by Jackson Howell. He only had 1 last time he started against the Seagulls in his 5 innings of work. He's already matched that total in the first inning he's pitching. So here's Tommy Gooden, left-handed hitter from Vanderbilt, DHing today and batting 5th. Howell with 2 runners on now, 1 at first and 1 at second. First pitch to Gooden, misses high, ball 1. Gooden 5 for 13 this summer. Scored a run and driven in 2. 1 walk to his 2 strikeouts. He awaits the 1-0 from Howell. Low liner into left field, and that will go into left for a base hit. Stop sign is put on, but the ball gets underneath the glove of Gavin Smith. A free run for the Academy Barons, an error out and left from Gavin Smith. It's a 1-0 ball game. And just kind of a moment where Smith took his eye off the ball, trying to field it, charging in, and make a throw. Third base coach and Lorenzo Gray, check that. The third base coach, James Bishop, had the stop sign frantically put on for Gavin Taylor, or for Nathaniel Williams, but after seeing the ball go underneath the leg of Gavin Smith, it was an easy trot into home to score. So now it's Jason Del Villar, and he gets hit by a pitch. Well, Howell let up the leadoff single, and then I got a couple of quick outs, but after that, a walk, an RBI single, and a hit by pitch to Jason Del Villar. A meeting at the mound between Howell and his catcher, Cam Andrews. The shortstop, Ardois, gets involved as well. Bases now loaded off the hit by pitch to Jason Del Villar. And it's Jacob Klanowski, a right fielder, batting left-handed as the meeting disperses on the hill. Klanowski, 24 at-bats this summer, 5 hits to show for it, a .208 batting average for Jacob. Driven in just 1 run. First pitch missing low, 1-0. Jackson Howell trying to get out of a bases-loaded jam with 2 outs. Barons score first, 1-0 over the Blues. And fastball misses high, 2 balls and no strikes to Klanowski. Klanowski, a pioneer from Cal State East Bay. A senior there. He appeared in 37 games this past season and started in 27. A .284 batting average with 2 homers. 3-0 count now from Jackson Howell on 3 straight balls. 2 home runs, and he drove in 11 for the Pioneers. Actually had a grand slam on February 3rd against Montana State Billings and has a chance to get another one here. 3-0. Taking all the way, and it's a fastball down Broadway for strike 1. Three-one count. Klanowski in the driver's seat against Howell with the bases loaded. Barons up 1-0 in the bottom of the first. The pitch. Swings and foul tips it into the backstop for strike 2. Big miss that time from Klinowski, and a sigh of relief for Jackson Howell because that identical pitch was served into left field off the bat of Gooden, who is another left-handed hitter. He drove in a run on that single. The payoff with 2 outs, and high and outside, ball 4. Jackson Howell walks in a run, his second walk of the day. And just like that, it's 2-0 Academy as the manager, Dean Traynor, heads out there to talk to his right-hander. And for Howell, it just fell apart so quickly. Sure, you allowed the leadoff single, but when you have a guy that's batting nearly 500 in the leadoff spot like Nathaniel Williams, that's just kind of going to happen. It comes with the territory. But he did a nice job bouncing back, getting the ground ball out to Murillo at second base, and Hart made a nice play in center. Line drive hot off the press from Trevor Schmidt. Back-to-back outs, and you're one away from putting the bat back in the Blues' hands, but instead, walk, single, hit by pitch, and now a walk to bring in a run. So it's Antonio Lujan, the center fielder, batting 8th for the Barons, still with the bases loaded and 2 outs. Lujan, a Cougar from Azusa Pacific University. There's a handful of those on this team for the Academy Barons. One of them, today's starting pitcher, in Joel Tornero. Blues had a base hit in the top of this inning, but stranded that runner on first. That was Brady Alves, his 3rd hit of the summer. 2 strikeouts in a row, retired the side. First pitch, and it's a called strike to Lujan, 0-1. A native of Los Alamitos, California, played his true freshman season with the Cougars this past season at Azusa. Just started in 3 games, 3 hits in his 11 at-bats, and drove in 2. The 0-1. And a slider not missing by much. 1 ball and 1 strike to Lujan. This summer for the Barons, 26 at-bats, 6 hits, 1 home run, and scored 3 runners so far. Howell comes set with the bases loaded. Blues down 2-0 in the bottom of the first. 1-1 is a changeup that floats down the plate for strike 2. Lujan didn't like it, but he digs back in a 2-strike count. Jackson Howell up against Lujan with Gooden at third, Del Villar at second, and Klinowski at first. It's a sign from Andrews behind home plate. They're on the same page, and Howell comes set. The 1-2. Slider slips out of his hands, and Andrews slides to his left. Even count now at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Lujan has walked 1 time this summer and struck out twice. The lefty in a widened stance with 2 outs and a 2-2 count. The pitch. Spiked fastball, and Cam Andrews keeps it in front. Nice defensive play by the former Gator. 3 balls and 2 strikes now. I talked about how missing his spots this summer has been different than his past season with the Blues, because when Jackson misses, he's been missing by a lot. That was a spiked fastball coming in at 54 feet and bouncing in front of home plate. So he gets another shot and a 3-2 count against the left-handed hitting Lujan. The payoff. And the pitch misses low. Jackson Howell walks in another run. Back-to-back walks from Howell. A 3-0 ball game. Bases still loaded. All of these runs coming with 2 outs for the Barons. A single, a walk with the bases loaded, and now make that 2. 3-0 Academy. So now here's J.J. Nielsen, the third baseman from Hawaii Manoa. Base is still loaded with 2 outs, and Nielsen grounds it to the shortstop Artois, who gets it on a funny hop, but throws it over to Comerford at first in time, and the side is retired. But not before the Barons strike first. 2 hits, 3 walks, 3 left on base, 3-0 ball game. We head into the second. Blues trail on the SLO Blues streaming network. Blues now playing from behind against the Academy Barons. A 3-run bottom of the first from Jackson Howell, the starting pitcher for the Blues. Now they got to get to work. Andrew Raymond's the first batter that Joel Tornero faces, and a pitch misses high and tight to him for ball 1. Jackson Howell walked the bases loaded twice and allowed an RBI single from Tommy Gooden. Pitch bounces on top of home plate, 2-0 to Andrew Raymond. And that's how we got to where we are now. Top of the second here at the MLB Youth Academy in Compton, California, in SoCal. 5-6-7 due up for San Luis Obispo. It's Andrew Raymond here in a 2-0 count. A big left-hander from Santa Clara. Spits on this one, low and outside. 3 straight balls to Raymond. Andrew starting in his 4th game of the summer for San Luis Obispo. A bit of a late arrival, but has played well. 4 hits in his 13 at-bats, 2 doubles. Fastball down the middle for strike 1. His first 2 hits as a Blue were doubles. His first hit came against the Walnut Creek Crawdads in Game 2 up north. 3-1. Sends it straight back into the screen. Now a full count to Andrew Raymond, 3-2. Just finished his first season of college baseball at Santa Clara with the Broncos. Started in 29 games and was 16 of 81. 2 home runs as he grounds it to the right. The first baseman Schmidt is there. They'll flip it to the pitcher in Tornero, and he wins the foot race for the first out of the second inning. And Raymond can certainly book it down the line. And not an easy task to get him out right there, but a nice flip from Trevor Schmidt over at first in time to Tornero. So now here's Gavin Smith, the left fielder, batting 6th for the Blues. And Smith was a key component in that RBI single in this past half inning for the Barons. Third base coach James Bishop had the stop sign on for his runner and Nathaniel Williams. Pitch misses low and in, 1-0. And Smith, right as he was about to scoop up that grounder, I think pulled up his glove at the last second. It rolled underneath, and that bought time for Williams to come in to score the first run of the game. 1-0. And Smith chases high. 1 ball and 1 strike. Gavin started in yesterday's game and also played in left field against Arroyo Seco. A 2-for-4 afternoon. A couple of singles, a stolen bag, a strikeout, and a groundout. Pitch misses inside. 2 balls and 1 strike to Gavin Smith. Prior to that, he played in Game 1 against the Stompers at Sinsheimer Stadium. It was 1 for 5 with an RBI single. Struck out and was hit by a pitch. And he takes a called strike here. Tough with two now is Gavin Smith with one out. Blues in fourth place in the CCL North. 2 games outside of first where the Walnut Creek Crawdads stand alone. Smith chases for strike 3. Elevated fastball, and Tornero saw the weakness a little earlier in the at-bat, and he just hit the same exact spot. After the single from Brady Alves in the first, 4 Blues have been retired in a row. Here's Brendan Comerford, the first baseman, batting 7th. Comerford a day off yesterday against Arroyo Seco, but played in Game 2 against the Stompers at home. 0 for 3 day with a pair of strikeouts and a ground ball out to the third baseman Handren that day. 1-0 now to Brendan. A Gonzaga commit after a couple of very successful seasons at Ohlone College these past 2 years. 1-0. Comerford takes strike 1. Wearing some new batting gloves. Ryan and I, during this homestand, talked about it a little bit. Comerford switching out the black and white lizard skin gloves for some new baby blue mitts. 1-1. Comerford leaves it high. 2 balls and 1 strike. And that's the key for Comerford this summer, is laying off that high pitch just like he did right there, especially earlier in counts, because then it avoids you getting into a 2-strike count. There's a high curveball, and it's in there for a strike. So now tough with 2, Brendan Comerford. Blues have struck out 3 times today already. We're not out of the second inning. The 2-2. Brendan off the hands, fouls it into the net behind home plate. We'll do it again at 2 balls and 2 strikes. And you can see the active effort from Brendan Comerford to lay off those high pitches. That's where you saw the take on the slider for strike 2. It was a 50-50 call, but it started up and it broke into the zone. More of a 12-6 action, less so a sweeper. 2-2. High fastball, and Comerford leaves it for the Birds. 3 balls and 2 strikes now to Brendan. And again, that's a moment right there where you can see Comerford actively working on his approach. Old Comerford would swing at that pitch, and he leaves it here for ball 3. The payoff. Brendan chops it into the net behind home plate, and we'll do it again at 3-2. Comerford battling in a 3-2 count against Joel Tornero. 2 quick outs from Raymond and Gavin Smith. Comerford trying to extend the inning with the Blues down 3-0. Comerford rocks and waits on the payoff pitch. Here it comes, and it's a spiked fastball, ball 4. Very nice at-bat from Brendan Comerford, a very mature at-bat for BCom as well, and a 2-out base runner. So here's Cam Andrews, the catcher, batting 8th for San Luis Obispo today. Had the night off the past 2 days as the Blues are kind of rotating 3 different catchers right now, and Charlie Caruso, Cam Andrews, and Nico Button. It was Button yesterday, Caruso the day before, and Andrews got the start in Game 1 against the Stompers. 1 for 3, a single in the third against Sonoma as the pitch misses high and outside, 1-0. A pop out to second and a ground ball double play. Blues hit into a few double plays that game against Sonoma. Another weird blip in their offensive production as he takes ball 2. When I say that, I'm kind of thinking of the random nights where the Blues will have 17 strikeouts and then have 4 the next day, and then they'll get caught stealing a bunch of times, and then they'll be perfect on the base paths. Andrew swings and misses for strike 1 and a low fastball and a 2-0 count. And then that day it was the grounder into a double play. That hasn't been an issue for the Blues. There has been an issue of scoring base runners. That's been a pretty common motif, but when runners are on first, they usually keep it in the air. Here's a fastball, and it's on the inner corner. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Andrews in the transfer portal after his program at San Francisco State went under due to budget cuts. Here's the 2-2, and Andrews swings and pops it up out of play. We'll do it again at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Brendan Comerford over at first base. He drew a 2-out walk. Diego Murillo stands on deck, another transfer portal player. From the stretch, here's Tornero. And Andrews off the end of the bat, fouls it out of play once again. Another good battle from Blues hitting here with 2 strikes. We talked with third base coach Rene Regalado about the Blues 2-strike approach because it seems like they get themselves in that count often. And he feels confident. He always has a good feeling when the Blues have 2 strikes on him. He knows they're going to put up a fight no matter what. And Comerford and Andrews have certainly done that. Andrews off the hands, bloops it into right field, and it will land for a base hit. Comerford goes first to third. The center fielder Lujan slips, and Regalado puts the stop sign at Comerford at third base. A 2-out knock for Cam Andrews puts runners at the corners, and the Blues are in business with the tying run coming to the dish. Second knock of the day for San Luis Obispo. A jam shot from Cam Andrews, but it fell in front of the charging Lujan in right center, who tried to stop on a dime and slipped. That bought time for Comerford, who was a full head of steam around second, went into third standing. So now it's Murillo, the second baseman with 2 outs. Pitch is high and outside and almost goes into the backstop, but a great save by Taylor. 1-0 to Murillo. Diego got the start against the Sonoma Stompers in Game 1 in the 3-game homestand, the 1-0. Diego fouls it back for strike 1. Grounded into a double play. There's that double play motif again. Grounded to the first baseman Keys, walked and lined out to the second baseman Libby. An 0 for 3 day with a walk. He was stranded at second base that time. Joel Tornero gets his set. And the lefty will step off, trying to get on the same page as Taylor. Resting his black baseball glove on his right pec. He now delivers from the belt. And Murillo takes strike 2. Diego having a clutch up here with 2 strikes. And like I said before, Coach Regalado very comfortable with the Blues hitters in 2-strike counts, a spot where they often find themselves. The 1-2. Diego sends it straight back. We'll do it again at 1 ball and 2 strikes. I like to see that too from the Blues hitters, especially today. Fresh off a bus ride from San Luis Obispo. You land right in Compton. Throw that jersey on and battle. The guys don't look sluggish at all. The 1-2. Murillo sends it in the air to left field. Ranging to his right is Del Villar, and it lands in for a base hit. Brendan Comerford scores. Here's the windmill for Cam Andrews. The throw won't come to the plate. 2 RBI double for Diego Murillo. The Blues bring it within 1. And with the way the ball flies around here at the Youth Academy, I thought that might have had a chance to go out. Murillo didn't get all of this one, though. Kind of hit it off the end of the bat, but it was perfectly placed. The left fielder, Del Villar, was playing in the left center gap, and he had a long ways to go to get there. At one hop the wall at 327 feet, and a 3-2 ball game, the Barons lead. Back-to-back base hits with 2 outs, and that brings off the leadoff man, Sam Ardois. Ardois grounded to the third baseman Nielsen the last time he was up as Tornero with the inside move keeps Murillo at bay at second base. And for Diego, that's his first extra base hit of the summer. He drives in 2 runs for the kid. Pretty sizable lead at second for Murillo as Ardois awaits the first pitch. And Sam takes a fastball in the outer half for strike 1. A little 2-out rally here for San Luis Obispo, showing some life after a 3-run frame from the Barons offense in the bottom half of the first. 2 quick outs, and then 3 straight base runners as Ardois spoils it off to the right and out of play. 0-2. Sammy in the transfer portal after a season at University of Louisiana Lafayette last year. Brady Alves stands on deck. He recorded the first Blues hit today. The 0-2. Pitch high, and a nice save from Taylor behind the dish to extend and keep it from hitting into the backstop 1-2. That's the second time this inning we've seen the catcher Taylor go full extension to keep a baseball in front. A look at second now, too. Here's the 1-2. And Ardois takes high, 2 balls and 2 strikes. Deuces wild in the top half of the second inning. Blues have scored 2 on an RBI double from Diego Murillo as he stands on second base. Tornero comes set from the chest, the offering. Ardois sends it in the air the opposite way. It burns Klinovsky, and he won't have a play on it. Ardois one-hops the wall, and he'll trade places with Diego Murillo. He wants more, though. Chugging into third base, the throw. Not in time. RBI triple from Sam Ardois. And oh, baby, the Blues tie it at 3. Look at Spice extending that extra base hit, huh? 2 extra base hits in this frame. And a discussion at the mound with pitching coach A.J. Menares. A single, a double, and a triple all in a row, tying the game in the top half of the second inning. Brady Alves just needs a homer now, right? It's only fate. And I'm not sure why Klinovsky was playing so shallow in right field against Sam Ardois. I mean, this was well hit the opposite way. It's 325 down the right field line, and the wind is howling straight out. If I'm playing right here, my heels are on the fence the whole game. So it's Alves, who recorded the first Blues base hit today. He's got the go-ahead run 90 feet away, and Ardois, who's reeling from an RBI triple. First pitch is swung on and missed for Alves, strike 1. Alves getting the start today at third base and batting second for the Blues. SLO left him out to dry over on first with a couple of strikeouts in the inning. And the sentiment is different here. 1-1 now to Brady Alves. The 1-1. Alves with a 70% swing sends it out of play for strike 2. Maybe fool a little bit on a Tornero curveball right there. As the bullpen still empty for the Academy. Jackson Howell getting a decent amount of rest in the Blues dugout. The 1-2. Alves takes it for strike 3. The go-ahead run stranded at third, but the Blues tie it on an RBI triple from Sam Ardois. It's a 3-3 ball game heading to the bottom half of the second on the SLO Blues streaming network. Bottom of the second and a whole new ball game here from the MLB Youth Academy. The Blues tie it on an RBI triple from Sam Ardois in the top half of the second inning. Tied at 3 apiece, and Jackson Howell back out there for his second inning of work. He faced all 9 in the first, and what was sort of a disaster at the time. A couple of hits, 3 walks, a hit by pitch, bringing in 3 runs for the Academy. But he's going out there to hold down that run total for the Barons, as his team has now tied it at 3. He's down in a 2-0 count to Nathaniel Williams, though, who got the party started for the Barons. A single right up the middle. 2-0. A hanging curveball. It just misses inside. 3 straight balls to Nathaniel Williams. Williams, one of the more prolific hitters in the entire league. I just talk about that batting average, 478 coming into today's game. It kind of speaks for itself. Fastball down the middle, strike 1. We talk a lot about stats on this broadcast, and, my affinity for slugging and OPS, and I love the walk to strikeout numbers, too. I don't talk about average too much. 3-1. He's late on this one, sending it back for strike 2. But when you get an average like this, 478, that has to be mentioned. Pretty solid sample size, too, for this summer. Now 12 for 24. The payoff. Fastball just misses low and inside for ball 4. Man, that did not miss by much, and Howe wanted it. The entire dugout groaned collectively after that walk from Nathaniel Williams. So a frustrating 50-50 call doesn't go Howe's way, and a leadoff base runner for the Barons. It's DJ Akiyama. Grounded out to Murillo at second base the last time he was up. Pitch underneath the heels of Akiyama, and an easy 90 feet for Nathaniel Williams. He's now in scoring position for the Barons. It's just mistakes like that for the Blues. If you're going to play in tight ball games like these, you can't have. Especially yesterday, a 3-1 victory over the Arroyo Seco Saints. A very nice win for the Blues. They kept it close, but good for them to pull out of that one with a W. Arroyo Seco, one of the better teams in the entire CCL, and they shut him out 1-0. And it's fouled off his front foot, and Akiyama now in a 1-1 count. Switch hitter batting left-handed again against Jackson Howell. At 6'1", 180 pounds. Played at Campbell this past season, and actually had a weekend series on the road against UC Santa Barbara, Valentine's Day weekend, opening weekend. He swings and fouls it off Andrews' arm for strike 2. And the home plate umpire saying that there was no foul tip on that play, and it was a live baseball, and Williams just took off to third. And now Dean Traynor wants an explanation. It was pretty obvious that there was a foul tip, and I think everyone knew it. Akiyama knew it. Cam Andrews looked back for another baseball, and Dean wants an explanation. A very weird situation, because Akiyama clearly foul tipped this ball into the backstop. Andrews knows the protocol. Can I get a new baseball, please? That's what he said to the umpire. But the home plate umpire didn't do anything and was wondering why. And Andrews realized quickly that it was a live ball. So now a meeting in front of the mound with all the crew. And I've talked about this before on the broadcast. I mean, what other perspective can these other umpires provide? Not that they're not good at their job, it's that they're far down the lines and they can't hear or see it as well as the home plate umpire. I mean, the people in the stands heard the foul tip ball better than any of the umpires down the lines. I think everyone in the vicinity knew it except the home plate umpire. A lot of confusion. And I think Williams was the first one to decide that it was a live ball and just took off to third. A very long discussion on something that should not take this long, as Akiyama getting iced at the plate here. Standing on deck, it's Trevor Schmidt. That's the former Blue who smoked a ball to center field, but the center fielder, Logan Hart, made a great play. So no foul ball is what they call it, which is, I feel like everyone in the area heard the foul tip. I'm kind of surprised Dean Trainer isn't arguing it more, because that is the go-ahead run 90 feet away for the Barons now. That's an important run. 1-2, and Howell misses on a changeup high. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Infield playing in with a runner at third and no outs in the bottom of the second inning. The 2-2. Fastball right to the third baseman, Alves, who checks the runner and throws over to first. Nice play for Brady Alves, and a heads-up one to make sure that runner stays at bay. One of the best things that could happen to Jackson Howell right there, hitting a ground ball right into the infield playing in, and Alves did the right thing, fielded it. First thing he did, look at the runner, make sure he stays, then go to first, threw a strike to Comerford, 1 out. 2 ground ball outs for DJ Akiyama, and now it's Trevor Schmidt, who all he needs to do is put a ball in the air to go ahead in this game. First pitch to him misses high, 1-0. Infield still playing in with 1 out and a runner at third. Schmidt, who almost hit the wall, trying to do something similar to that here. And Trevor goes the opposite way. It's a fly ball for Smith, and it falls in front of him for a base hit. Charging home is Nathaniel Williams, and the Barons take the lead over the Blues in the second. RBI single for Trevor Schmidt. A 4-3 ball game now. Third hit of the day for Academy in the bottom of the second. And now it's Gavin Taylor, the catcher, who has put on a nice show behind the dish. And I mean, we've only seen him for 2 innings, but there have been a couple pitches from today's starter, Tornero, for the Barons that have gone well over the head of whatever batter's at the dish, and Taylor has sprung up and caught him. It's this one into left field. Smith won't have a play on it and bounces in front of him there for a base hit. Back-to-back singles, and Schmidt moves up another station. Runners on first and second. It's starting to unravel again for Jackson Howell as Dean Trainer heads on out there. And Trainer will go to his bullpen. Jackson Howell's day is done, and the southpaw from Cuesta, Jason Vialli, will check into the game. A new pitcher. We'll tell you more about him after this on the SLO Blues streaming network. New pitcher for the SLO Blues. It's the southpaw from Cuesta College, Chase Viale. Jackson Howell's day is done. An inning and a third of work, 4 hits. The runs to be determined, as the 2 base runners on right now for Academy will go under Howell's name. So stay tuned on that. 4 walks and no strikeouts for Jackson Howell. Not the start he was anticipating after looking great against the San Francisco Seagulls on that Northern California road trip. And so Chase Viale comes in to potentially clean up the mess for Howell with runners on first and second and 1 out in the bottom of the second. First pitch from Viale hits good and right between the shoulder blades, and it loads the bases for the Barons. Second hit by pitch of the day, and we're at about the hour mark, and we're not out of the second inning. Trevor Schmidt moves to third, Gavin Taylor moves to second, and Tommy Goodman at first following that hit by pitch. So now it's Jason Del Villar, who, speaking of hit by pitches, was hit by a pitch in the first inning. And Chase Viale, making his 5th appearance for the Blues this summer, has pitched in 11 2/3 innings, 8 strikeouts, 9 walks, and 4 earned runs. Swing and a miss on a first pitch for strike 1. A 3.21 earned run average for Viale. A 1.16 whip, which is walks and hits per innings pitched. 1.16 is good. You typically want to stay around below 1.4, 1.5. 0-1. A curveball blocked by Andrews behind home plate. 1 ball and 1 strike. The Barons took the lead in this inning from an RBI single off the bat of Trevor Schmidt. He scored Nathaniel Williams, who was a leadoff walk in the second. Now Viale trying to get a ground ball double play, get out of this inning, and get the bat back in the Blues' hands. Low on 1. Sent high and deep in the air the opposite way. Jordan giving chase, and a 1 hops the wall. Rounding first and heading to second base is Del Villar. Runner comes home, the throw goes home too, and it's a bases clearing triple for the Barons. Jason Del Villar extends the lead. It is 6-3 Academy as Del Villar stands alone at second base. And check that, a 2-run triple. Or double. Jacob Klinowski now. He walked back in the first inning. Was stranded on first after a J.J. Nielsen ground out. Got 2 runners in scoring position here, and 1 out. Klinowski takes low and outside, ball 1. And these pitchers so far for the Blues, it's been problematic, to say the least. 6 runs in the first 2 innings. A couple of 3 spots to begin this ball game. Viale strides and shoots. It's fouled straight back. 1-1 against Jacob Klinowski, one of the 3 left-handed hitters in today's lineup. One of the 5 if you count for the 2 switch hitters at the top of the order, and Nathaniel Williams and DJ Akiyama. Here's the 1-1. And a floating curveball is a called strike, 1-2. Klinowski from Claremont, California, graduate of Claremont High School at 6'2", 215. 0-1-2. Golfed and sent out of play for a foul ball. We'll do it again at 1-2. Played last summer and the summer before that with the Academy Barons too. In 2024, he batted .200 with a .400 slugging and a .419 on base. 9 hits, 3 doubles, 2 home runs, and 6 runs driven in his 15 games played. Flinches at a pitch high, 2 balls and 2 strikes. And before that, in 2023, when his current teammate Trevor Schmidt was on the Blues, he had 115 plate appearances, .265 average, a .683 OPS. Here's the 2-2. Klonowski check swings. He'll win the round, and the throw goes over to first. Comerford's there. He taps on the bag for the second out of the inning. That's the first strikeout of the day issued by Blues pitching, and it's the second out in the second inning. And for Chase Viale, that is his 9th strikeout of the summer. He and Jackson Howell both entered this game with the same amount of strikeouts thrown. They've thrown in similar amounts of innings, too. Viale, 11 2/3, and Howell, 10 1/3. There's Antonio Lujan now. Lujan walked the last time he was up, and he's first pitch swinging and lines it foul, strike one. Lujan, a Cougar from Azusa Pacific. Finished his true freshman season this past year. A speed and power threat with good play out in the outfield. The 0-1. Pitch misses outside. 1 ball and 1 strike. And before Azusa Pacific went to high school at Cypress High. Played for Coach John Weber there. His 2 years on varsity playing at Cypress, a 41-18 record with a couple of Empire League championships. Pitch skips in the dirt, and the runner at third, and Schmidt will stay there. Six to 3 ball game. The Academy Barons lead the SLO Blues. Another 3-run inning for this Academy offense. Viale trying to stop the bleeding here in the bottom of the second inning. Still a lot of baseball left. He comes set on the 2-1. Now delivers. Fastball fouled straight back, and 2 balls and 2 strikes now to Lujan. He's got Cougar baseball in his blood. His father was a 2-year standout at Azusa Pacific in 1988 and 89. Appeared in 96 games for the Cougars with a .324 batting average and 12 homers with 54 runs batted in. And his record at Azusa, Lujan's father, was 71-35. The 2-2. Low fastball, and Lujan will take it as he shuffles in the box. 3 balls and 2 strikes. On a more impressive note, his mother is regarded as maybe one of the greatest softball players in U.S. history. A 3-time Olympic gold medal pitcher and a 2-time NCAA Pitcher of the Year at UCLA. Here's the payoff. And Lujan dribbles it up the middle of the shortstop Artois, moves to his left, throws it over to first on the run in time, and the side is retired. But not before the Barons take the lead. A 2 RBI double off the bat of Jason Del Villar makes it a 6-3 ball game. We head into the third. Blues trail on the SLO Blues streaming network. new pitcher for the Academy Barons as the Blues now trail 6-3 against the Academy in the bottom half of the third inning, or check that, the top of the third inning here from Compton. Still trying to get out of this first third of the ball game. We're over an hour into it. First pitch swinging and chopping it here is Hart, the center fielder, as Trevor Schmidt races to the bag, and he'll touch it himself for the first out. One pitch, one out for the new pitcher, Adrian Blanchette, a right-hander from UC Riverside, as he will now face Don Jordan with one out. Jordan struck out swinging to end the first inning the last time he was up, and he's got Andrew Raymond standing on deck. Heavy fastball slider for Adrian Blanchette. Jordan sitting both. There's a slider here, very sharp, but just missing outside. 1 ball, no strikes. It's interesting to see the different shapes of sliders that different pitchers have, and it seems here for Blanchette, it's a sharper break, not so much a sweep, but almost like a cutter. Here's the 1-0. Jordan swings and sends it straight back off the netting for strike one. Don is having himself a summer here in San Luis Obispo with .385 batting average heading into today's game, a .995 OPS for Don. He's making his 18th start for the Blues today. The 1-1. Jordan takes a bouncing slider outside, 2 balls and a strike. Enter today's game with 25 hits. That leads the team. 4 of them are for extra bases. He's driven in 9 so far. Blanchette working from the stretch with bases empty. The 2-1. Jordan crushes this one to left field, and it will hook foul. A foul ball home run for Don Jordan. He pieced that up well. It was just a matter of if it would stay fair or not, and clearly it didn't. And in the book, it's a long strike 1 for Don Jordan, or strike 2. So now Don digging back in with a slightly wider stance and sitting lower in the box. Here's the 2-2, and Don almost gets hit by a fastball in the head. He has to duck out of the way. 3 balls and 2 strikes. Look out. Blues trying to put together some fight like they did in the top of the second inning, where they had 2 extra base hits in a row, and both of them drove in runs. The payoff, and Don throws out his bat, and it's a weak pop out to the first baseman Schmidt, who makes the running grab and foul ground for the second out. So 2 gone here for Andrew Raymond. Raymond grounded out to Schmidt the last time he was up and lost the foot race to the then starting pitcher Joel Tornero, who tapped first. Tornero went 2 innings of work, allowed 3 hits, or check that, 4 hits and 3 runs, all of them earned. 1 walk, 4 strikeouts. Here's Raymond on the first pitch, and he chases a high fastball, strike 1. Andrew only making his 4th start of the summer with the Blues. Has already collected 4 hits in his 13 at-bats, and half of them are doubles. Looking to bounce back after an underwhelming season at Santa Clara this past year. The 0-1. And Raymond golfs this one, and it's grounded foul to the right. And strike 2 to Andrew Raymond. Gavin Smith awaits on deck. He struck out swinging in the second. We've already gone through quite a few baseballs today. A lot of scuffs, a lot of foul balls hit on the wrong part of the bat. A suboptimal baseball to throw. We're just throwing them out left and right. Blues trails 6-3 in the top of the third. An 0-2 count with 2 gone to Andrew Raymond. The pitch, and Andrew will foul it behind home plate. We'll do it again at 0-2. Raymond yesterday played against the Arroyo Seco Saints. was 1 for 4 with a single in the third inning and was eventually stranded at third base. A couple of pop-outs as well into both sides of the outfield, both corners, and a ground ball out to the shortstop Enright yesterday. So 1 for 4 and 0 for 1 today. 0-2. Raymond leaves a sweeper outside, 1 ball and 2 strikes. That's a good take right there. It looked very enticing for Andrew, who thought about going after it but held it up just in time. The 1-2. Andrew, high bouncing ball to Schmidt over at first, and he'll tap the bag himself. Trevor Schmidt getting quite a big amount of reps over there at first base in this inning. We'll flip it to the bottom half of the frame. Blues trail 6-3 on the SLO Blues streaming network. Nine, 1-2, due up for the Academy Barons in the bottom half of the third inning. Blues come up empty. They go 1-2-3 against a new pitcher in Adrian Blanchett, a left-hander from UC Riverside. It's Chase Fiali back out there for San Luis Obispo. He'll face J.J. Nielsen, Nathaniel Williams, and DJ Akiyama. Nielsen 0 for 1 today with a ground ball out to the shortstop Ardois. Sitting here in a 2-0 count against Viale, who gets right back on the rubber. From the windup, the pitch. Leaves it high. 3 straight balls to J.J. Nielsen. The pitch. And he takes it high, and that's ball 4. So Nielsen will reach on a leadoff walk, and the last time the Blues did that, it turned into a 3-run inning in the second. So now it's the leadoff man, Nathaniel Williams, who has reached twice and has scored twice. He's led off both innings, the first and the second for the Barons. First pitch, and Williams takes it for strike 1. Nathaniel, the switch hitter, batting right-handed now against the lefty Chase Viale. Pick over at first, and Nielsen, no trouble there, slides in safely. JJ has 2 stolen bags in the early going this summer as Williams swings and misses large on a curveball here for strike 2. Nielsen stayed at first base. It was in the dirt, and Williams went after it. Average lead at first base for Nielsen as Williams readies up on the 0-2 count against Chase Viale. Our lefty move over to first base, and Nielsen back in time. Viale looking for a ground ball here, possibly turning a double play, get 2 quick and easy outs in the third. Here's a ground ball. The third baseman, Alves, can't make the play. Here's the throw from the knees, and it's offline. Brady Alves can't handle the ground ball over at third base, and everyone is safe. An E5 for Brady Alves. This is coming off the heels of a game where the Blues didn't commit a single error. A big reason why they were able to win a tight one like they did yesterday against the Arroyo Seco Saints, a 3-0 W. Mers on first and second now. 2 looks at the bag, now delivers. First pitch to Akiyama, misses low, 1-0. And so actually the official book has that as a hit for Nathaniel Williams. So he's now 2 for 2 on the day. No error charged to Brady Alves. 1-0. Akiyama lines this one, and it will roll into the bullpen for strike 1. J.J. Nielsen at second. Nathaniel Williams at first. Blues trail 6-3 against the Academy Barons here in Compton. An hour and 30 minutes into this game. We're not out of the first third. The 1-1. Curveball slipping out of the hands of Viale, 2 balls and 1 strike. And we've seen that happen a few times today. It was a lot warmer earlier during batting practice. The sun was shining. The UV was high. It'd be understandable if that weather were to continue right now to see slip-ups like this happen on the mound, but they've been pretty frequent, and it's honestly getting a bit nippy down here in SoCal as the sun goes down. The 2-1. Runner takes off to third. Andrews can't find it, and a stolen base for J.J. Nielsen. On the other side, Nathaniel Williams stayed at first, so now runners at the corners for the Academy. First stolen base allowed by the Blues today. You don't run on Cam Andrews often, but I think Nielsen just got a really good break on a curveball read from the arm action of Chase Viale, and he took off with confidence. 3-1. Fastball is popped up and off to the right and out of play, strike 2. Full count to Akiyama, who has a pair of ground ball outs today. Williams inches off the bag at first, and Nielsen creeps at third. The payoff. Fastball misses high, and a walk will load the bases for the Barons. Now here comes trouble in Trevor Schmidt. A single in the second, and a deep fly ball out to center field in the first. Cam Andrews calls time at the dish. He wants to have a chat with his southpaw. The entire infield will converge as well. And here comes Dean Traynor, too. Dean takes his time strutting out there. And I think the official ruling on that hit was just changed. I think they just changed it back to an error. So a couple flip-flopping here statistically. So that will go as an error to Brady Alves over at third. So Nathaniel Williams is not 2 for 2 today. He's 1 for 2 with a single in the first. Akiyama at first base after the walk, and after a long meeting at the mound, we're ready to go. Only one batter has struck out today. With the bases loaded, it's Trevor Schmidt. First pitch. And Schmidt grounds it to the right side. Murillo, the second baseman, goes to second for one. Our draw fires over to first. And Comerford comes off the bag. A run will score. Blues can't turn the double play. They get the force out at second base. Runners at the corners. And a 7-3 ball game. After coming off a win against one of the better teams in the CCL last night, it's kind of shocking to see a 2-7 Barons on a 4-game losing streak play the Blues like they are right now. So Schmidt reaches on a fielder's choice. Foul tipped and off the head of Cam Andrews behind home plate, strike one. It's Gavin Taylor, the catcher, who's 1 of 1 on the day with a walk. He has scored a pair of runs as well. Trevor Schmidt at first base. And Akiyama at third. Curveball bounces on top of home plate. Schmidt takes off to second base, and Andrews, the catcher, can't get to the baseball in time. A wild pitch from Chase Vialli, and Schmidt's at second base. Taylor, the former Cougar from BYU, with 2 runners in scoring position, 1 out. Infield playing in on the right-hander. A 1-1. Hit deep in the air to left field. Back goes Smith. He can only look up. It's off the scoreboard. A 3-run home run for Gavin Taylor, and this one's getting ugly here in South LA. (10-3). Barons lead the Blues not even out of the first third of this ball game. It's a 10-3 game after the 3-run home run. That thing got out in a hurry. Granted, it is a shorter porch out and left, down the line at least, at 327, but that thing was still hit pretty hard. Here's the Commodore from Vanderbilt, Tommy Gooden, taking strike one here. Gooden a hit today and was also hit by a pitch in the second inning. Takes it high, 1 ball and 1 strike to Gooden. Strides and shoots, and the fastball sent straight back for strike 2. Gooden, a .385 batter coming into today's game. 1 for 1 so far. Pitch missing low, 2 balls and 2 strikes. 13 ABs coming into this afternoon. 5 hits. Has driven in 2. Drove in 1 today with his RBI single in the first. That got things started for the Academy Barons before pouring on 10. Pitch well above Gooden's head. 3 balls and 2 strikes. The payoff. Gets away from Andrews, and Gooden prances to first base on the walk. And here comes Dean Traynor to talk to Chase Vialli. He will go to the bullpen. Chase's day is done. A 3-run bomb from Gavin Taylor. It's a 10-3 ball game. We'll introduce you to the new pitcher right after this on the SLO Blues streaming network. New pitcher for the Blues. It's Wyatt Fisher, the the yellow jacket from Cedarville University, coming out there to clean up the mess. Chase Vialli left behind. Vialli pitching in 1 inning and just allowed a 3-run bomb from Gavin Taylor to make it a 10-3 ball game. First pitch is swung on and foul tipped into the mid of Andrews for strike 1. Jason Del VR. He rocketed a double the opposite way the last time he was up. Was also hit by a pitch in the first. He's got a runner on first now, and Tommy Gooden, who just walked. Fisher delivers, and it's a high fastball here at a ball and a strike. Del VR entered today's game with a batting average just south of 300 at 292. 24 ABs, 7 hits, and driven in 3. 1-1, that misses high. 2 balls and 1 strike. Fisher making his 4th appearance for San Luis Obispo. Has faced 16 batters this summer. Only 1 strikeout in his 3 innings of work. A couple of walks and a couple of earned runs. Pitch is yanked on top of home plate. 3 balls and a strike now. Average lead at first base for Tommy Gooden. A 3-1 count. Fastball high and tight, and that's ball 4 from Wyatt Fisher. Back-to-back walks in the bottom of the 3rd inning, and it brings up Jacob Klinowski. A game that just unraveled right from the start for San Luis Obispo. They showed some grit and some fight in that 2nd inning on offense. But today, a 3 spot in the 1st, a 3 spot in the 2nd, and now a 4 spot in the 3rd. There's still only 1 out. Here's Klinowski, who's 0 for 1 today with a strikeout and a walk. Fastball high, 1-0 to Jacob Klinowski. Left-handed hitter playing right field today. Looking for a ground ball here, flip a double play, and get out of the inning quickly. Here's the 1-0. Klinowski hits a hard liner and foul down the right field line, strike 1. Didn't miss it by much as Klinowski digs back in that lefty batter's box. A pair of oven mitts in both back pockets, a Digicamo arm sleeve on his left arm. With his torpedo bat on the 1-1, he's ready. The pitch. Curveball wrinkles into the zone for strike 2. Antonio Lujan stands on deck for the Academy. And Fisher comes set and rattles his leather over the baseball. The 1-2. Curveball slips out of the hands again, and it misses high. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Barons on 6 hits have brought in 10 runs. With the Blues' 4 hits, they've driven across 3. SLO trails by 7 in the bottom of the 3rd. The 2-2. Fastball popped up off the hands. The third baseman Alves in foul ground. Returns to fair territory and makes the grab with 2 hands. Second out of the inning, a pop out to the third baseman Alves. And now it's Antonio Lujan. Runners on first and second for the Academy, and it's Lujan with 2 gone. Lujan 0 for 1 today. A ground ball to the third baseman Ardois and a walk in the first. Every batter, except for 1, Trevor Schmidt, has walked at least 1 time today. First pitch. Fastball bounced in front of home plate. Easy play for Fisher, and he bobbles the baseball, and there won't be a flip at first base. Got a big old candy hop on a bouncing ball in front of home plate. Fisher had a bunch of time to run over to the bag and essentially hand it over to Brendan Comerford. Nothing touched him, and the ball just came out of his hand. So an error from the pitcher, Wyatt Fisher. 3 on the day for San Luis Obispo. First pitch low and outside. Andrews slides to his right, 1-0. That will now load the bases with 2 gone. And this has just been kind of a theme for San Luis Obispo. What team is going to show up today? What's it going to be today? And so far, it's been the walks and the errors. The 1-0. Fastball, a little late here, is J.J. Nielsen. That's strike 1. Two outs, bases loaded. Here's the 1-1. Fastball golfed and sent into deep center field, but Hart will have a play as he makes the two-handed squeeze and retires the side. Fly ball out from J.J. Nielsen ends it. That's 3 innings where the leadoff man in the lineup has batted. They've essentially batted around in all 3 innings. It's 10-3, Academy Barons lead. We head into the 4th inning. Blues trail by 7 on the SLO Blues Streaming Network. Top of the 4th inning here from the Major League Baseball Youth Academy in Compton. The Blues trail by 7 against the MLB Youth Academy Barons. A 3-run homer from Gavin Taylor, among others, as Gavin Smith, his first pitch swinging, sends it to the third baseman Nielsen, who makes the throw. Nice backhanded pick by Schmidt over at first base. 1 pitch, 1 out for Adrian Blanchett. Here's Comerford, who had a very nice at-bat in the second, and that's when the Blues tied the game with 3 runs in that inning, and you just got the feeling that there was going to be some fight today, and it was going to be a gritty baseball game for San Luis Obispo. But the theme today is that the offense has just made it very easy for the Academy, as Comerford hits a laser beam down the right field line, but it's foul. 1-2 the inning of the third. A pair of strikeouts after a single in the first. The second is really the best inning the Blues have put together so far offensively. But on defense, the errors and the walks are killing San Luis Obispo. The 0-1. Comerford just a little too early on a fastball here. And a 2-strike count to Brendan now. Like I said, Comerford put together a real mature at-bat the last time he was up. And he fought with 2 strikes. Trying to do that here again in his second plate appearance of the day. The 0-2. Comerford chases a slider for strike 3. 2 quick and easy outs here in the 4th inning. Here's Cam, who has had a long day behind the plate so far, but came through with a single in the second. He was the first hit to go in a strand of 3 in a row for San Luis Obispo that tied the game eventually. With 2 outs, here's the first pitch. And Cam, his first pitch swinging, dribbles it into the backstop for strike 1. Diego Murillo stands on deck. He had a double down the left field line that one-hopped the wall to bring in a couple of runs in the second. Cam was one of those runs to come in, but he singled first. Here he is on the 0-1. And a 54-foot pitch bouncing in front of home plate. A ball and a strike to Andrews. Exchange of a laugh with the catcher Gavin Taylor, who hit that 3-run home run to really pour it on San Luis Obispo in the last half inning. The 1-1. And Andrews hit by a hard fastball on the forearm, and he'll take first base. That came out hot from the hand of Andrews, or check that from Blanchett. And Andrews reeling over at first base, grimacing. He looks to be okay. He's just kind of putting his hands on top of his knees right now. I'm seeing a smile over there, so I think we're good. Tough as nails, Cam Andrews, as he stands on first, and Diego Murillo comes up to the dish. First pitch, and Murillo, a little late on a fastball, sends it foul for strike 1. Murillo always scraps together at bats. He's a very good bat-to-ball guy. 287 hitter this past season as a Riverhawk at Northeastern State. The 0-1. Murillo pops it up to the right. The first baseman, Schmidt, will run out of room, and that's strike 2 to Murillo. Diego, I would say an underrated player on this Blues roster this summer. Always puts together those good at-bats, like I said. Enters today's game with a .318 average, just starting in his 9th game for San Luis Obispo. We're in game 20. So he's played in half of them, and in that time has been a sneaky good player, an unsung hero on this Blues team. Here's the 0-2. Murillo sends it straight back. We'll do it again at no balls and 2 strikes. Sam Ardois, the leadoff man, stands on deck for the Blues. 2 outs, runner on first. It's Cam Andrews who is hit by a pitch. Here it comes. Murillo leaves it high, 1-2. Diego also known for his nice defense over at second. You can put him at short, you can put him at third. He's very comfortable at any spot. Murillo, off the end of the bat, hits a weak fly ball to the second baseman, Williams, who camps under it and makes the grab to retire the side. Blues stranded runner on first, a hit by pitch from Cam Andrews. Bottom half of the 4th we go. San Luis Obispo trails by 7 on the SLO Blues streaming network. Another inning, and the leadoff man for the Academy Barons digs into the plate. It's Nathaniel Williams, who reached on an error the last time he was up, stranded on second base. Faces Wyatt Fisher. The first pitch from Fisher misses outside, 1-0. Aside from that error from Alves over at third, which, by the way, is one of three the Blues have committed today, he led off the game with a single, eventually came around to score, and then scored again on a walk his next plate appearance. Now he's up in a 2-0 count against Wyatt Fisher, a right-hander making his fourth appearance for the Blues this summer. The 2-0. Fastball, and he foul tips it off the home plate umpire and Cam Andrews for strike one. Williams takes his time digging back in. Switch hitter batting left-handed against the righty Fisher. The 2-1. Fastball missing high, 3 balls and 1 strike. The sun just about to set here in Southern California. A brisk night in South Central LA. 3-1. Bounces behind home plate, and that's ball 4. Again, the walks. Blues pitchers have had a very difficult time finding the zone today. And you can see Dane Traynor in the Blues dugout sharing that frustration. Williams has reached base all 4 plate appearances today. And that's the third leadoff walk of the day. So here's DJ Akiyama, who walked himself in the third and had a couple of ground ball outs besides that. Pitch gets away from Fisher. Runner goes to second. Here comes the throw. Beat him by 5,000 feet, and he's out. Williams caught stealing over at second base. The pitch that got away from Wyatt Fisher almost went to the backstop, but Andrews sprung out of the squat, made the grab, and the throw over to the second. Here's a barrel into right field, and it falls in for a base hit. Don Jordan is there. Nice throw into second base. It's on the money, but he will stay at first. Akiyama, with his first knock of the day, is a single down the right field line.
First baseman number 14, Trevor Schmidt.
Here's Trevor Schmidt, again, former Blue, who reached on a fielder's choice in the third, and an RBI single in the second, and had a deep fly ball to center field in the first. A 1-for-3 day as he takes strike one here. Luckily, Williams was caught stealing just a few moments ago, because on that single from Akiyama, Williams had the speed and the jump to get over to third base on that ball. And Trevor Schmidt shakes his head on a called strike two, a curveball that hit the inner half of the zone. Fisher working with a runner on first base. 1 out, 0-2 count to Schmidt. Here it comes. Curveball missing high, 1 ball and 2 strikes. And Trevor, very interesting build to his bat. The handle is so thin where his hands are at. It goes up the barrel, and all of a sudden, it's just a thick barrel. It's like a cricket paddle almost. The 1-2. Schmidt hits a liner into center field, and it falls in front of Don Jordan. Another hit. Back-to-back singles as the throw gets away to third. And Fisher and Alves both tried to get it. Fisher will come up with it. Schmidt, his second base hit of the day. And for the Barons, that's hit number 8 on the evening. Now here's the home run kid from last inning in Gavin Taylor. Runners on first and second now. It's DJ Akiyama at second and Trevor Schmidt at first. Gavin Taylor is 2 for 2 today. A single and a home run with a walk in the first. He himself has scored 3 of the 10 runs. Curveball missing high, 1 ball and no strikes. Barons managed by Kenny Landreau, a native of Compton, California. Went to Dominguez High School, not too far here from the MLB Youth Academy. Here's the 1-0. Fastball missing high, 2 balls and no strikes. Kenny was the 6th overall pick in the 1976 MLB draft out of Arizona State. A career with the California Angels, the Minnesota Twins, most notably the LA Dodgers through the 80s. He was an all-star in 1980, though, with the Minnesota Twins, one of the 2 years he played. That's when he was 25 years old, and in that season had a 751 OPS, an even 100 OPS plus in that all-star season. 3 straight balls from Wyatt Fisher against Gavin Taylor. From the stretch, a peek at second base. Now the 3-0. And there's a called strike on the inner half. Though Gavin Taylor's still in the driver's seat in a 3-1 count. Taylor at the dish, and Tommy Gooden stands on deck. Three-one. Curveball. That misses high, and that's ball 4. A walk, 2 singles, and now another walk. That loads the bases once again for the Barons. The Academy has had the bases loaded in every inning. It's Tommy Gooden, the Commodore from Vanderbilt. In an upright stance, a 1-for-2 day, or a 1-for-1 day, an RBI single. He pops it up. Third baseman Alves at the wall, at the bullpen, and out of nowhere, Artois, the shortstop, came crashing through but couldn't make the play. So a new life here for Tommy Gooden. Brady Alves might have lost it in the night sky. Trying to look for it. We are approaching twilight time here in Compton. I can't stress enough how hard it is to see baseballs when you get at this point in the evening because they blend right in with the sky. It's even more exaggerated when you hit it above the lights, too. Kind of like that play. I think Alves might have lost it the last second, and Artois had a good beat on it, and it touched the leather of his glove, but he couldn't squeeze it. 0-1. And this one off the hands into shallow left center field. Gavin Smith, the left fielder, makes the catch. Runner tags from third. The throw comes in, and Alves will cut it off. Barons have scored in every inning today, and we're in the 4th. 11-3 Academy. Second RBI of the day, too, for Tommy Gooden as Jason Del Villar digs in. Runners on first and second for Del Villar with 2 outs. Andrews slides to his right to block the baseball 1-0. Del Villar was hit by a pitch in the first, doubled in the second. That was a laser the opposite way for the right-handed hitter, and then walked in the third. Every hitter has reached base safely today, at least once, for the Academy. 1-1. Fastball in there for a strike, 1-2. Check a 1-1 count to Jason Del Villar. Couple shuffles at second, and another curveball slipping away from Wyatt Fisher. And the Blues got to figure that out. That's happened like 5 times already. I'm mostly curious. Fisher comes set and sides. From the stretch, a couple looks at second, the 2-1. Spike fastball, and Andrews keeps it in front. 3 balls and a strike. Hats off to Andrews behind the dish today. He's had to work with a lot. Blocking baseballs, sliding to his left and to his right, coming out of the squat. He's done it all behind the dish today. And on top of that, collecting a base hit in the second, and then was hit by a pitch in the fourth. 3-1 is popped up into shallow center. Center fielder Hart calls everyone off and makes the grab to retire the side. But another run, a sacrifice fly from Tommy Gooden, 11-3 Academy. We head into the 5th inning on the SLO Blues streaming network. New pitcher for the Academy Barons, Adrian Blanchett's day is done. The lefty went 2 innings of work, allowed no hits, no runs, and no walks, with striking out one batter. It was Brandon Comerford. He did hit Cam Andrews, but no problem there. He was stranded over at first base. So now it's the righty from Cypress Community College, Douglas Crystal. He'll face the leadoff, Sam Ardois, Brady Alves, and then Logan Hart in the top half of the 5th inning. Blues trail now by 8, 11-3. That's the first pitch slider, misses low and outside to Ardois. Sam is the most exciting offensive moment today for San Luis Obispo. An RBI triple in the 2nd inning that tied the game. 1-0. Ardois takes it high and outside, 2 balls and no strikes. Talked about the power approach from Sam Ardois this summer. A lot more disciplined at bats, putting the bat to ball a lot more frequently this year with the Blues. 2-0. Fastball painted on the outer half for strike 1. That's something about seeing summer baseball players play at the same team, in this case San Luis Obispo. You get to watch a lot of guys develop, and I think that's so much fun. 2-1. Ardois pops it up and out of play off to the right for strike 2. Both on a player end of things and on a personal end of things too. Just kind of watching Ardois evolve into the player he is this summer with the Blues, as a stark contrast from last year. And he'd probably tell you the same thing. That's him as a player, and seeing guys like Jake Hicksonbaugh essentially grow up with this team. It's pretty cool. The 2-2. Ardois goes down swinging for strike 3. Got him on a nasty slider, and that's the first out of the 5th inning. That's a good pitch. It started middle, and I don't think Ardois was able to pick up spin right away. Went fishing after it. Kind of threw the barrel at it. Either way, another strikeout for the Blues offense. And strikeouts haven't been the issue necessarily for the Blues. I mean, they're averaging about 1 an inning, but it's more weak grounders that are put in play, jam shots, things off the end of the bat. Here's the first pitch to Brady Alves, and it's a called strike. Alves struck out swinging the last time he was up in the second, and that ended the frame. But aside from that, he hit the first Blues hit of the day. A single in the first, and then Blues strand together 3 in a row in the second inning. And they've been stuck at 4 hits ever since. Bouncing ball missing outside, 1-1 now with 1 out. Alves playing third base today, and a couple errors over there. Hasn't seen a lot of action with the Blues as of late, but getting an opportunity, hitting in the 2 spot in game 1 of this 3-game road trip. 1-1. Alves check swing, and he went around. Frustrating AB already for Brady Alves. Shouting as he steps out of the batter's box and taking a deep breath as he checks back in. Trying to hit reset and a 2-strike count. Left side of the infield shifted to the righty's pull side. The 1-2. Alves will pop it up high in the air, but not playable. Sending it into the clubhouse for another foul ball, 1-2 to Brady Alves. 1 for 2 today. 1 out following a Sam Ardois strikeout. A new pitcher, Douglas Crystal, in for the Barons. The pitch. Another bouncing pitch, missing outside 2. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Some arms getting hot in the Academy bullpen already. Barons, the first 2 arms that have gone today have each gone 2 innings. You got to think that Crystal is on that same timeline. 2-2. Alves flinches on a slider just missing outside for ball 3. That's the same slider that Sam Ardois swung at. And a gold star for Brady Alves there for recognizing that pitch and that count and knowing it was going to come and not swinging at it. Payoff. He chases this one, though, in the dirt for strike 3. The ball kicks away, and Alves will reach first. Drop third strike, and Brady Alves is on first base. So another strikeout for this Blues offense, and now the K's are starting to pile up a little bit. Back-to-back K's, and it's Logan Hart.
Number 40, Logan Hart.
Hart made his Blues debut yesterday, and after a nice defensive play in right, showed some speed running the base paths and a 2-hit day that earned him Dog of the Day, starting in center. The 0-1 now against Douglas Crystal with a runner on first and 1 out. He's looked good in center field. Very assertive, calling the baseball, and always gets good jumps on fly balls hit to him. He made a great catch, great ranging catch from Trevor Schmidt earlier in the game. There's a curveball dropping in there for strike 2. It's not a Sports Center top 10 catch, but it's one if you're an outfielder or if you're around baseball, you know he got a good jump right away. It's a catch that people would have to dive for usually, but because he was at the right place and broke at the right time, it was easy. 1-2, and the fastball's blown by him for strike 3. Second time today that Logan Hart has struck out on 3 pitches. 3 straight strikeouts, but only 2 outs here in the top of the 5th inning. And it's Don Jordan who struck out swinging in the first to end the frame. Last time he was up, he popped out to the first baseman Schmidt in the 3rd inning. Jordan swings and misses at the first pitch for strike 1. And that inning, that 3rd inning, Trevor Schmidt made all 3 putouts. Lights are on here at the Youth Academy. As they buzz, the 0-1 comes home, and Jordan swings and misses over another slider for strike 2. 2 outs, and Brady Alves on first base. Reached on a drop third strike. Oh, 2. And the pitcher, Crystal, slips on the mound, and Alves will jog into second base easily. Yeah, there must be some sort of moisture out by the rubber because Crystal has slipped off the mound twice in this inning, and the Blues pitchers, all three that have come in the game, have had issues on some breaking pitches slipping out of their hands. There's got to be some wets. It's got to be muddy or something over there. 1-2. And Jordan up the middle to the second baseman, Williams, who shuffles and throws it over to first in time. The side is retired. Brady Alves strand on base. He reached on the drop third strike, and a couple of other Ks and a ground ball out will end it. Halfway through in Compton, California, the Blues trail 11-3 against the Academy Barons on the SLO Blues streaming network. Seven, 8, 9 due up for the Academy Barons in the bottom half of the fifth, just about halfway through here in Compton, as this one's popped up to the right, and Comerford, the first baseman, will not have a play. It's a high popping up. Strike one against Jacob Klinowski. After him, it's Antonio Lujan and then J.J. Nielsen. The bottom three hitters in the order for the Barons have not collected a base hit. Here's one from Klinowski. A frozen rope back into center field. A leadoff single for the right fielder. Barons have had a leadoff base runner in every inning this game. And Klinowski continues the trend as Antonio Lujan steps in. Lujan 0 for 2. Reached on error in the third. Grounded out to Ardois at short. And then walked. He walked in the first. Curveball missing high, 1-0. It's Wyatt Fisher back out there for the Blues. Jackson Howell started today's game. Only went an inning and a third, allowed 4 hits, 6 runs, only 4 of them earned. No strikeouts and 4 walks. 1-0. Another pitch missing high, 2 balls and no strikes. Blues got 2 more games left in this SoCal swing. Tomorrow they have the Orange County Riptide at 7 p.m. Then they head over to Santa Barbara before coming home to play the Foresters for the first time this summer. The 2-0. Huge swing and a miss at a pitch low in the zone for strike one. And Lujan, one of the harder swings, honestly, I've ever seen. Two-one. Lujan grounds it foul down the first base line, and that's strike 2. A true sophomore from Azusa Pacific. The 2-2. And Lujan gets hit by a pitch. Curveball that never was really over the plate and hit Lujan flush on the back. Back-to-back base runners for the Barons. They're at first and second now in the 5th inning. Third hit by pitch of the day issued from Blues pitching. So Klinowski advances into scoring position now, and it's J.J. Nielsen. 0 for 2 today, a fly out, a ground out, and a walk. The recipient of ball 1 here with no outs. And Fisher just trying to induce a ground ball out of J.J. and at least get a couple outs here. Former Hawaiian, a 3-star quarterback and shortstop for the Rainbow Warriors as he takes strike 1. Now in the transfer portal. Fisher checks second, now comes home. 1-1. Curveball, and it's chopped in front of home plate and foul. 1-2. At Hawaii this past season, J.J. played in 7 games for the Rainbow Warriors. Only 2 at-bats. Did get a hit, though. Stole a base and struck out once. 1-2. Nielsen goes down swinging. And no drop third strike here. He will be out. And that's the first out of the inning. A strikeout from J.J. Nielsen. The second strikeout of the day for Blues pitching. Nathaniel Williams now, the leadoff man, who has reached base safely in all 4 plate appearances. A single, a walk, a reach on air, and a walk in the 4th. He was caught stealing in the 4th inning. Marzon first and second here with 1 out. First pitch swinging and a high fly ball into right. Jordan at the fence, and he'll make the grab right at the wall. Quickly getting the ball in as the runner from second tags to third. That's Klinowski. But a nice play by Don Jordan out in right field. The first time Williams today has not reached base safely for the Barons. Now it's DJ Akiyama with now a runner at third. Klinowski tagged and moved to third on the fly ball out. Lujan stayed at first, so runners at the corners with 2 outs. 11-3 ball game, the Barons lead, and it's Akiyama who collected his first base hit of the day in the 4th. First pitch, missing high. Andrew stands up, 1-0. Couple of ground ball outs, a walk, and then a single in the 4th. He scored the first run, his first run of the day. He scored on a sacrifice fly from Tommy Gooden with 2 outs. That made it 11-3. Fastball, this is a deep shot into right field, and he's admiring his artwork. A no-doubt 3-run homer. And the Barons just keep pouring it on. (14-3) Academy, and another 3-run homer today for the Barons. This one comes with 2 outs. A no-doubter for DJ Akiyama. Right off the bat, he just stood in the batter's box, kept the barrel up, elevated, and celebrated. So here's Trevor Schmidt. He takes a slider for strike 1. Barons have scored in every inning of this game. The 0-1. And Schmidt hits a low grounder to Comerford at first, as he'll tap the bag himself, and the inning is over. Into the 6th inning we go. A 3-run homer for DJ Akiyama makes it a 14-3 ball game. Blues up right after this on the SLO Blues streaming network. Top 6 here at the MLB Youth Academy in Compton. Andrew Raymond leads it off for San Luis Obispo. A 3-run inning for the Barons. The offense just keeps building and building and building on this Blues pitching, as Raymond is late on a fastball here for strike one. A 3-run, no-doubt homer for the switch-hitting DJ Akiyama makes it a 14-3 ball game. The Blues got their work cut out for them over halfway through in this game. 0-1. And pitch misses outside, 1-1. Douglas Crystal is back out there for the Barons, dealing with the middle of the order, 5-6-7 for San Luis Obispo. 1-1. And Raymond sends this one into right field. And a nice running grab by Klinowski in right. Caught it in the lower part of the strike zone. Raymond just kind of threw the head out at it and was hoping it would sink. Klinowski was there to make the play. With one out, it's Gavin Smith. 0 for 2 today, a strikeout swinging and a ground ball out to the third baseman, Nielsen. First pitch, and Smith checks his swing, and it's a called strike. Cotton candy skies here in Southern California. The lights fully in play at the Youth Academy. 0-1. Smith takes it low and outside, evens it up at 1 ball and 1 strike. Off to the left behind the stadium, like a pinkish, orangish hue. Oh yeah, we're in SoCal. 1-1. Smith hits a hard grounder to Nielsen at third, but he makes the play and throws it over to first in time to retire the left fielder, Gavin Smith. 2 quick and easy outs for Douglas Crystal, and it's Brendan Comerford. Comerford, a strikeout swinging in the 4th and a walk in the 2nd inning. First pitch, and Comerford takes a slider for strike 1. A good pitch from Douglas Crystal. A 14-3 ball game. It's been all bats for the Academy. As Comerford takes a slider here, but it misses off the plate. 1 ball and 1 strike. The Barons have scored in every single inning today. 1-1. Comerford swings and misses and is very early on a changeup here for strike 2. The Barons have had 5 opportunities at the dish, and they've put up multiple runs in all but 1 inning, and that was in the 4th. 1-2. Comerford pops it up off the end of the bat into center, but Lujan can't find it. Now he takes a couple hard steps in and makes the grab. 3 up, 3 down for the Blues. We head to the bottom half of the 6th inning. They trail big, 14-3 against the Barons, and we'll be right back after this on the SLO Boost Streaming Network. Bottom of the third inning, and a new pitcher in for San Luis Obispo, Ralph Shirella, the left-hander from Allen Hancock College, replacing Wyatt Fisher. Due up, it's Gavin Taylor, Tommy Gooden, and Jason Del Villar. Middle of the order due up for the Barons. They're up big over San Luis Obispo. They have scored in every single inning tonight. There's only one inning where they scored one run. Every other inning, it's been a multi-run inning. As Shirella and Andrews are trying to get on the same page. Still waiting for pitch number one and Shirella's outing. Here he is from the stretch. First pitch, and it's a called strike to Gavin Taylor. Roth making his fourth appearance for the Blues this summer, and in 3 innings of work, 4 strikeouts and 5 walks, has not allowed a run so far with the Blues. 0-1. Another challenge fastball and a swing and a miss for strike 2. The lefty dangling his throwing arm from the stretch as the righty catcher Gavin Taylor widens his stance. A 2-for-2 day. That includes a 3-run homer and a single. 0-2. Fastball is popped up into shallow right. Second baseman Murillo is called off by Don Jordan. Great communication out and right to make the first out of the 6th. The first inning today where the Barons do not have a leadoff base runner. And it comes here in the 6th on the pop out to Don Jordan. That's a great job by Jordan to call off that baseball too, because Murillo was going out there to make the play. He had every intention in the world to make it because Murillo loves making plays, obviously. Wasn't calling anyone off. He was having trouble circling it, and Don Jordan comes out of nowhere and assertively calls him off. That's what you're supposed to do as a right fielder. Here's strike 1 to Tommy Gooden on a slider. Gooden a pair of RBIs today. A sacrifice fly in the 4th. That was the only run that the Barons got in that inning. A walk, a hit by pitch, and an RBI single. He came around to score on that single. 0-1, and that hits him on the thigh. Second hit by pitch of the day to Tommy Gooden, and it puts a runner on for the Barons. 1 out base runner, and it's Jason Del Villar. A 1-for-2 day. A smoked double in the second. A pop out, a walk, and another hit by pitch from him. 4 hit by pitches today issued from the Blues staff. First pitch, misses low and outside, ball 1. Del Villar from San Bernardino Valley College. 6'1", 210-pound. Native of Corona, California. 1-0. And this one hits him as well. Ralph Shirella misses inside with the fastball. Might have clipped Del Villar on the ankle, it looks like. But he's able to jog it off as he goes over to first base. So Shirella gets the pop out to the leadoff batter. And then after that, 2 hit by pitches. Puts a runner on second and 1 at first for Jacob Klinowski. Klinowski collected his first base hit of the day in the 5th inning, a single, in which he eventually scored on a 3-run homer from DJ Akiyama. The first pitch, and it bounces on top of home plate, ball 1. Klinowski is 1 for 3 today. Strikeout and a walk as well. The 1-0. Fastball missing outside, and it gets away from Cam Andrews. Each runner moves up another 90 feet, and 2 in scoring position for the Barons. And that's a costly mistake from Ralph Shirella as well, because now you can't get a ground ball and end the inning. You had a runner at first base, and if you got a ground ball, you could flip a double play and get out of it. But now first base is empty, and there's 2 in scoring position. Now the infield will have to come in and play in. At this point in the game, probably not. A 14-3 deficit against the Barons. The 2-0. Misses low again. 3 balls and no strikes. And Andrews has just had a day behind the plate. He's been working it. The 3-0. Fastball taken all the way for strike 1. So Tommy Gooden is at third on the wild pitch, and Jason Del Villar is at second. Both of them hit by pitches. 3-1. This one fouled up and just to the left of the Barons bullpen for strike 2. Full count now to the right fielder batting left-handed. Your Digicamo arm sleeve and a widened stance and a 2-strike count. Shirilla comes set. Tries and shoots. Swing and a miss. Strike 3. Ralph Shirilla strikes out Jacob Klinowski. That's the second time Jacob has struck out today. That's a big second out, too, for Shirilla. You're knocking on the door of finally shutting out the Barons for at least a frame. And you're facing a guy who has not collected a hit today. One of the 2 batters in this lineup for the Barons that have not gotten their name up on the hit board. Academy has 10 hits and 14 runs to show for it. Blues only have 4. As Shirella bounce passes this one in front of home plate, Andrews keeps it in front 1-0. 4 hits, and the Blues have committed 3 errors. 10 walks through 6 innings as well, and 4 hit by pitches. The 1-0. Fastball over the head of Alves into left field for a base hit. 1 run is in. Here comes another. Throw goes into second base. A 2 RBI single. Barons won't go quietly. With 2 outs, Antonio Lujan collects his first base hit in the day, and it drives in 2 runs for the Academy. 16-3 Barons. Both those runs that came in were hit by pitch. Avoidable mistakes for Ralph Shirella coming back to haunt him. So it's J.J. Nielsen now, the other batter who was hitless today. Now the only batter after that RBI single from Antonio Lujan. It's Nielsen who takes ball 1 outside, 1-0. J.J. today is 0 for 2. Grounder to the shortstop, Ardois, strikeout swinging. All right, check 0 for 3. That's when they batted around in the third. He flew out to center as well. Pitch misses inside, 2-0 from Shirella. (16-3) ball game. Barons broke it wide open back in the third following a 3-run homer. 2-0, another miss inside, 3 balls and no strikes. And there were some positive signs from the Blues offense in the top of the second, the way they were putting together at bats with 2 outs. You were really starting to feel hopeful about the Blues taking their second W in a row here. 3-0. Bouncer, and that's ball 4. But all that vanished quickly in the following innings.
Number 6, Nathaniel Williams.
There's only been 1 inning today where the Blues have not issued a walk. However, in that inning, Antonio Lujan was hit by a pitch. So every inning, there's been at least one free 90 feet. That's the leadoff man, Nathaniel Williams, as he takes strike 1 from Shirella. Last time Williams was up, he didn't get to run the bases for the first time today. A 1 for 3 day, a single in the first, an error in the third, and a pair of walks. 0-1. Fastball, and it's bounced to the shortstop, Ardois, who gets a big hop, and he can't glove it. The runner, Lujan, stops at third, and the bases are loaded. And Ardois just didn't time that one up correctly. Tried to backhand a big hop. It was a high bounding ball from Nathaniel Williams. Either way, it's his second base hit of the day, and it fills the bases. 2 outs, though, for DJ Akayama, who blasted a baseball for a home run the last time he was up. First pitch misses for a ball. Aside from that home run, he also hit a single in the fourth, a 2-for-4 day. Started the day off with a couple of ground ball outs and a walk. Broken bat, foul ball. He breaks it over his knee, and the dugout loves it. He needs a new piece of lumber. Oh, and Akiyama, eventually coming around with the single and the homer today after a pair of ground ball outs. And in my early playing days, I had a hitting coach, Mitch Enertson. And he always told me after I would be frustrated starting off a tournament weekend or a weekend series or a day with a ground ball that was hit hard and I'd be all frustrated, he'd go, no. That's actually the best sign you can get. That means you're about to get hot. And he was right every time. 1-1. Fastball missing outside, 2-1. And that was obviously the case here for Akayama, who started the day with a couple of hard ground ball outs. Baseball gods allowed him to reach base with that walk in the third, and then the pinnacle was that home run. Switch hitter was batting left-handed on that shot, now right-handed against the left-handed throwing Shirella. Fastball misses high, 3 balls and a strike. The 3-1. Bounce pass, and a run comes in to score. Raf Shirella walks the bases loaded. It's 17-3 Academy. Again, with 2 outs, an RBI single, a walk, a single, and now another walk. Antonio Lujan comes around to score. He had that RBI single to get this going. And now it's J.J. Nielsen, or check that, that's Trevor Schmidt taking strike 1. J.J. Nielsen advances to third. Nathaniel Williams into second base. There's Schmidt with 2 outs. Bases still loaded, 17-3 game. Pitch slips out of the hand of Shirella, and a run comes in to score again. J.J. Nielsen can moonwalk into the plate. 18-3 now, Academy. On that wild pitch, too, Williams advanced to third and Akiyama into second. An ugly, ugly game here from the Youth Academy in Compton. One misses low. Two-one. Schmidt pops it up, and it'll be out of the stadium for strike 2. Schmidt a 2-strike count with runners on second and third. With 2 outs, the pitch. And that's taken for strike 3. 4-run inning for the Academy Barons. We head into the 7th, 18-3 Barons on the Slow Boost Streaming Network. Cam Andrews leads off the top of the 7th inning here from Compton, California. 18-3, the Barons have a sizable lead over the Blues. First pitch is a fastball, and it misses low and outside for ball 1. Braden Wellen, the new right-hander from Golden West Community College, in to replace Douglas Crystal. Big, tall righty from the windup, and the 1-0. Andrews swings and lines it off the glove of the third baseman, Nielsen, who picks it up, throws it across the diamond, but can't make the play. A base hit off the bat from Cam Andrews. It was smoked right over to Nielsen at third. That's the first hit the Blues have had in 5 innings. And again, a last-minute scoring change here. That'll actually go down as an error by the third baseman, Nielsen. So an E5, and Andrews is at first. Diego Murillo takes ball 1. Wellen from Golden West Community College, not too far away from Compton College. 1-0. Fastball, and Murillo pops it up. Looks like it might be playable for Klinovsky, who gets called off by the second baseman in Williams, but he can't make the play. It's a fair ball. Throw goes into second base, and Andrews is in safely. A couple of lapses in defense and a couple of base runners for the Blues. I'm going to wait on this diagnosis first from the scoreboard before I say if it's a hit or an error. It will be a hit. Looks like neither Williams nor Klinovsky touched the baseball out in shallow right field. So a single for Diego Murillo. Halfway to the cycle. A double and a single today for Diego. Arjois will pop this one up. This should be very playable in the infield. And the third baseman, Nielsen, makes the grab as he falls over by the mound side. What is going on this inning for the Academy Barons? It's getting late. 8:49 here on the West Coast. A quick moving inning. Runners at first and second, and Brady Alves. And Kosei Suzuki looks like he's going to pinch hit for Logan Hart. Alves takes a pitch outside, 1-0. And some fireworks in the neighborhood. We had some behind us a little earlier in between innings, and just saw a little dazzle out there in center field. 4th of July is slowly coming up, 1-0. And Alves takes it low, 2-0. And on that note, the fireworks game on July 3rd at Sinsheimer is sold out completely. Very excited to see you all out there at Sinsheimer Stadium, celebrating the Stars and Stripes and watching the Blues play under the lights. 2-0. Pitch is well above the head of Alves for ball 3. Alves 1 for 3 today. The 3-0. Brady takes a strike, 3-1. A single in the first Blues hit of the day, and a pair of strikeouts. Reached first base on the drop third strike, though, from Taylor, and ball kicked away and rolled in front of the Barons' dugout. But then Alves was stranded at first. 3-1. Brady puts it on the ground to the shortstop, Akiyama, and they turn to the double play to get out of the inning. Stretch time here in Compton. 18-3. The Barons lead the Blues on the SLO Blues streaming network. Bottom of the seventh here in Compton, California. Barons lead 18-3 over the Blues, and a new pitcher for San Luis Obispo. Ralph Chirella's day is done. It's Chase Rogers, the sidewinder from Lafayette University. He's a Leopard, and he's in for the Blues now. First pitch is a sinker, and it misses low to Gavin Taylor for ball one. There's some defensive replacements, too, for San Luis Obispo. Jake Hicksonbaugh checks into this game. He replaces Gavin Smith in left field, so it's Hicksonbaugh in left. And Kosei Suzuki is playing center field. He'll replace Logan Hart. 2-0 now to Gavin Taylor, who broke the game open on a 3-run homer in the third inning. That made it a 10-3 game. As this one misses high, 3-0. And at that point, the Blues are going to. It can't get much worse than this. Well, here we are, 18-3. Rogers trying to have a clean inning for San Luis Obispo. But it won't start here. A leadoff walk for Gavin Taylor, the third walk of the day for the backstop, batting fourth. Here's Tommy Gooden. One of one day. Aside from his RBI single in the first, he was hit by a pitch. He walked, hit a sac fly, and was hit by another pitch. First offering is a slicing pop fly, and it will land into the batting cage and out of play down the left field line for strike one. Line drive to Comerford at first. He can't glove it. It rolls into right field. Murillo, the second baseman, is there. And Taylor advances into second. A Tommy Gooden single, his second hit of the day. 13th hit of the day for the Barons. As Jaden Thomas gets loose in the pen for the Academy. Rogers gets set from the stretch. Runners on first and second, back-to-back base runners. Taylor's at second, and Gooden's at first. It's Jason Del Villar. Villar's first pitch swinging and dribbles it straight back for strike one. Del Villar is 1 for 2 today. A double in the second and a pop out in the fourth. Aside from that, 2 hit by pitches and a walk. That just seems to be the average stat line today for the Barons, as it looks like a pinch runner will come in for Gooden. Chip Mertz coming into pinch run for Tommy Gooden. The DH's day is done. The 0-1. Very early on a changeup here, 0-2. Chase Rogers just checked into this game for Ralph Chirella. And I can't say I've ever seen this before. VR didn't even check swing. I mean, his hands were like kind of in front of his body. The pitch found his barrel, and he fouled it off. 0-2 to Jason Del Villar. And I'd like to say I've been around the game for a good amount of time. I played in college, played throughout my childhood, now broadcasting games, and I think I can honestly say I've never seen a fouled pitch on someone who didn't even move their hands, really. 0-2. Ground ball through the 4-hole and a base hit. Stop sign is applied at third. And once again, the bases are loaded for the Academy Barons in the 7th. Back-to-back singles and the second hit of the day for Jason Del Villar. It's Jacob Klinowski. Collected his first base hit in the 5th. It was a single and touched home plate on a 3-run bomb from DJ Akiyama. Klinowski, the right fielder, also popped out to the third baseman Alves, struck out twice, and walked in the first. He's a recipient of ball 1 here against Chase Rogers. Rogers is the 5th pitcher the Blues have used today. The 1-0. Roped and fouled down the right field line, strike 1. Might be seeing the benches empty onto the field soon. Dean Traynor looking to guys that are ready to go. One of those being Spencer Gallimore, a two-way player from UC Colorado Springs. Rogers comes set. Delivers the 1-1. Slider missing inside. Klinowski has to shuffle out of the way. 2 balls and 1 strike. And Gallimore is a fun story because he came in as a primary pitcher at UC Colorado Springs. They mostly see him as a pitcher. Was a two-way guy in high school, and with the Blues started out pitching as well and has been excellent. 2-1. This is a towering shot into center field. The newly appointed center fielder Suzuki makes the grab. The runner at third and Taylor tags, and he will score. The throw goes to third, and the Barons keep the streak alive. Another run scores. Neither Gooden, or check that, neither Chip or Jason Del Villar advance. So runners on first and second. And a sac fly from Jacob Klinowski. That's the first out of the 7th inning. So now it's Antonio Lujan. And Gallimore came in, was an excellent high school pitcher. Didn't get to see him in action this past season at UC Colorado Springs. Red-shirted. First pitch swinging and curving this one into the Barons' bullpen for strike 1 is Lujan. But he got some opportunities against the San Francisco Seagulls late in the game. And went 2 for 2. A 2 RBI single in there as well. And batting practice looks great. Earning your stripes, and might get an at-bat here as he's walking around with a helmet. This pitch goes behind the head of Lujan, and the runners stay at their stations. J.J. Nolan gets hot in the bullpen for the Barons, too. Rogers looking for a ground ball and potentially a double play to get out of this inning. 1-1. Bouncing ball to the shortstop Ardois, who charges it this time and makes a nice play over at first. Brendan Comerford stayed on the bag, and it's the second out. So Rogers gets the ground ball, but it's not one that they can turn to with. But they'll take the out. Ardois making a nice play on a smooth transfer from glove to hand. And there's 2 gone, but 2 runners advance into scoring position. Murch at third and Del Villar at second. It's J.J. Nielsen, the only hitless batter in today's lineup. First pitch. Moves his hips out of the way on a pitch inside, 1-0. Fireworks sporadically going off around the Compton area. It was a large one not too long ago. Almost looked like lightning striking. This pop-up is out of play until off to the right. 1-1 to J.J. Nielsen. Here's the 1-1. Fastball, and it is chopped into Cam Andrews' leg. Andrews is writhing in pain behind home plate. Athletic trainer coming out there quickly for the Barons to check in on Andrews. And that's just kind of the icing on top of the cake for a long, long day for the catcher, Cam Andrews. He's had to block so many pitches, stop so many things from going into the backstop, and he is awfully slow to get up. Manager Dean Trainer and the athletic trainer for the Barons just kind of watching over Cam as he now sits on his knees. Cam's ready to go. Cam Andrews covered in dirt. The home plate umpire brushing it off his back. That's a cool moment. Andrews has been hit by pitches behind the dish twice and one at the dish as a hitter. This is launched in the left field, and the left fielder Hixenbaum makes the grab. That was a scud missile from J.J. Nielsen, but the newly checked-in Jake Hixenbaum makes a great catch. We head into the 8th inning, 19-3 on the Slow Boost Streaming Network. Top 8 for San Luis Obispo at the MLB Youth Academy. They trail 19-3 against the Barons. This is coming off the heels of a 3-0 win against the Arroyo Seco Saints last night at Sinsheimer Stadium. Not the way they were anticipating on starting out a 3-game swing in Southern California. Here's a pinch hitter for Logan Hart. It's Kosei Suzuki, who is playing center field as well. And Kosei made a nice catch out in center in the last half inning. Suzuki holds up his swing, and it's a called strike, 1-1. Oh, Hart's day is done after an 0-for-3 outing, couple of strikeouts and a ground ball out. The 1-1. Suzuki dances out of the way of a pitch inside, 2-1. New pitcher as well, the lefty Jason Thomas for the Academy Barons. The 2-1. And Suzuki early on a fastball, sending it straight back, 2-2. Don Jordan stands on deck, and Spencer Gallimore standing in the hole. 2-2. Kosei pops it up into left field. Del Villar camped under it. and makes the grab for the first out of the inning. A fly ball out and one gone for Don Jordan.
For the Blues, number 18, Donovan Jordan.
Don hitless today. Pop out, a ground out, and a strikeout swinging. Here's the first pitch, and Jordan flares it out of play for strike one and a foul ball. The 0-1. Jordan takes on a pitch low, 1 ball and 1 strike to Don. Been a long night here in South Central LA. Blues trail big against the Barons, a game that got out of hand rather quickly. High and outside, 2-1. Started with a 3 spot in the bottom of the first, and the Blues answered right away. A 3 spot of their own in the top half of the second inning. Included a game-tying triple from Sam Ardois. 2-1, and Jordan's early and fouls it back, 2-2. There's some hope for the Blues at that point in a tied game, but immediately followed up by a 3-run inning from the Barons after that, and they didn't look back. A pair of 3-run homers tonight, too, for the Academy, and walks galore. Jordan sends a missile into left field, and it falls in front of Del Villar for a base hit. There's Don Jordan's first hit of the day, and he's on first base with 1 out. That was a hard hit ball from Don. Good to see him catch a barrel, and here's Spencer Gallimore. Last time the Gallimore got a couple of at-bats, it was against the San Francisco Seagulls. Gallimore's first pitch swinging and sends a liner into center field. Lujan gets to it, and right just like that, Gallimore responds with a 1-out base hit. And man, he told us about how much he wants to hit and be a two-way guy. He's really doing it. 3 at-bats, 3 singles. And this was hard hit, too, right back up the middle. It was one of those hits where you're in the batting cage and you hit a ball like that, and your coach goes, "Everyone stop. Did you guys just see what just happened? That's what we want to do." A redshirt freshman Gallimore might be made an example in all the right ways possible soon. Now here's Jake Hicksonbaugh, the new left fielder for the Blues, who recently committed to Cal State Pueblo. And Colorado State Pueblo. And congratulations to Jake Hicksonbaugh. The recruiting journey is not easy. And Hicksonbaugh spent the last 2 seasons at Monterey Peninsula College and will now head to Colorado. 0-1. Hicksonbaugh takes a slider, but it just misses below the zone, 1-1. Gallimore, by the way, pinch hit for Andrew Raymond, who was today's designated hitter. Hicksonbaugh takes high and outside for ball 2. I wish Ryan were here. I could ask him the mascot of CSU Pueblo. Is Hicksonbaugh's tardy here for strike 2? Thunderwolves. Love it. Don Jordan on second. Spencer Gallimore at first. Jake Hicksonbaugh on a 2-strike count. Here's the pitch. Hicksonbaugh buckled up on a slider, and it's taken for strike 3. Hicksonbaugh goes down looking after pinch hitting for Gavin Smith, and there's 2 gone in the inning. Here's Comerford now. back-to-back innings where Blues have had a runner in scoring position. And Comerford chases a fastball high, strike one. Here's the 0-1. Comerford leaves a four-seamer above the zone, 1 ball and 1 strike. Kyle Bender getting loose in the bullpen for the Barons. Another Cougar from Azusa Pacific. The 1-1. Comerford pops it up high in the air on the left side of the infield. The second baseman, Williams, comes across the bag, but he gets called off by Akayama, who couldn't see it until the last second. Blues strand 2-runner on. Don Jordan, a base hit. Spencer Gallimore continues to do his thing at the dish, too. Bottom of the 8th, Blues trail 19-3 against the Academy Barons on the SLO Blues streaming network. Hey, it's a new pitcher in for San Luis Obispo, but it's a position player, E.J. Royal, making his first appearance on the mound in the Blues uniform. Got a rest day today. And Logan Hart played center field. Now Kosei Suzuki in center field. And it's E.J. Royal coming off the bench and pitching. There you go. There's some fuzz missing high and outside to the leadoff man, Nathaniel Williams, for ball one. Here's the 1-0. And a pitch misses outside. 2 balls and no strikes from Royal. EJ is locked in, and he is wasting no time getting back on that hill and delivering some pitches. 2-0. Fastball, and it's sent straight back for strike one. I can't help but think this is something Royal and I have never discussed off the field, his desire to pitch. 2-1. Fastball missing low, 3-1. But there was clearly a moment where he came to Dean and went, I need this. And he's getting it. 3-1. Fastball is hit into right center field. Don Jordan racing. He gets called off by Kosei Suzuki, and neither of them can make a play. Ball gets away. Jordan fires it into the infield. It one hops over to third base. A double for the leadoff man, Nathaniel Williams. Third base hit of the day for Williams. And there's just some miscommunication there. It looked like Jordan was going to get to that baseball first, and I don't think he called it initially. You could hear Kosei be very communicative, loud and clear. I got it. Jordan did a nice job getting out of the way. I think they both did. Obviously, everyone unscathed. Here's a liner that slices foul and out of play, strike one. But at least they were talking, because both of them are going full speed at each other, and I would not want to see Kosei Suzuki collide with Don Jordan. I was a victim of such event. In center, collided with someone much larger than me. 8 months later, after a broken tibia, whatever it is, growth plate. 0-1. This one roped to second base, and Murillo can't make the play. Took a big hop over the diving attempt. So Williams advances to third, and a single for DJ Akiyama. EJ just trying to throw strikes and fill the zone, and he's certainly doing that. These Barons hitters are just hitting it really hard. And it's funny, coming into the game, they have that 2-7 record, and you're going, it's a team we can kind of sleep on. You look at their roster, all of their talent. This record does not match up with the kind of players they have. It almost reminds me of the Menlo Park Legends. 1-0. Big swing and a miss here for strike one. Except Menlo Park doesn't have players of Vanderbilt caliber. They do have Will Anderson. 1-1. Fouled straight back, and that's strike two. Trevor Schmidt in a 2-strike count. 1-2 against E.J. Royal, who stares him down from the stretch. Schmidt gearing up, sitting down in his stance. Here's the 1-2. Fastball, called strike three. E.J. Royal sits down Trevor Schmidt. That's the first out of the inning and the first strikeout of E.J. Royal's Blue career. That is awesome. So one out now, and it's Gavin Taylor. Fastball spiked, gets away. Runner stays at third. So runners are at first and third with one out. It's Akiyama at first and Nathaniel Williams at third. E.J. Royal, the position player, pitching. I guess position pitcher would work. The 1-0. Fastball missing outside, 2-0. Another miss from EJ as he works back onto the mound. A big old tear in his away pants. 3-0 is a bounce pass and a walk that fills the bases again. Every inning, the Barons have had the bases loaded at least once. Here's Chip Murch. He pinch ran for Tommy Gooden and will come in and stay and hit for him. Murch takes the first pitch for a ball. Fourth walk of the day to Gavin Taylor, by the way, who's at first base. Taylor's at first, Akiyama at second, and Williams at third. One. Fastball misses high. Andrews tried to frame it, 2-1. The pitch. Fastball chased for strike two. Jason Del Villar stands on deck for the Barons. The 2-2. Fastball hit the opposite way in the air, and Hixenbaum makes the catch. Throw comes into the plate. The runner tags. It one hops, and it's not in time. Nathaniel Williams scores another run for the Barons. That streak stays alive. 20-3. The Barons have scored in every inning tonight. And I think Hixenbaum might have not known how many outs there were or was just in a wrong position because he was camped underneath the baseball with a runner at third. And I understand the Blues are in a blowout situation, but in getting an opportunity to play in a game, you want to take like a game-like rep because you are in a game. He did not run up to the baseball, and I think that's what costed Hicksonball on that throw. Had he had been more squared up and coming in to make the catch and have some momentum on the throw, it might be a lot closer. But he had to generate his own momentum instead after catching the baseball. The 1-0. Bounce pass again from Royal. Runners on first and second, 2 outs. Royal yanks it again, and the runners stay at their stations. Well, EJ, a Giants fan who models his game off Mookie Betts, channeling his inner Kike Hernandez right now, though. Here's a called strike from Royal, 3-1. Only thing EJ's missing is the protective pitching helmet. 3-1. That's ball 4. EJ Royal walks Jason Del Villar.
Number 18, Jacob Klinowski.
Akiyama moves to third, Gavin Taylor to second, and Del Villar at first. It's Jacob Klinowski. 1 hit today for Jacob, a 1-for-4 day. Pair of strikeouts, a walk, and a sac fly. Lines it down the right field line, and it's foul. 0-2 to Jacob Klinowski. The 0-2. Curveball foul tipped off of Andrews' mitt. And he'll stay alive. Andrews couldn't come down with it. Oh, curveball there from EJ Royal, huh? The 0-2. Swing and a miss. Bounces on top of home plate. Drop third strike. And he's out at first base. So a strikeout swinging to Jacob Klinowski. EJ Royal gets a couple of Ks in the bottom of the 8th inning. We head into the 9th. Blues up, or Blues down big. 20-3 against the Barons. Into the top of the 9th we go on the SLO Blues Streaming Network. New pitcher in for the Barons. Right-hander from Azusa Pacific, Kyle Bender, in to close it out against San Luis Obispo. E.J. Royal, the center fielder for the Blues, just came in to pitch and got a couple of Ks, but a run did come in to score. The Barons have put up at least one run in every single inning tonight. Cam Andrews leads it off against Bender. First pitch is a heavy fastball, high and tight for ball one. Andrews today is 1 for 2, a single in the second, and he reached on air in the seventh and was also hit by a pitch in the fourth. And he's just gotten lots of abuse today. Fastball and a called strike to Cam, 1-1. Both behind the plate and at the plate. With the hit by pitch in the fourth, he's been hit by a couple baseballs at catcher. He's had to jump and dive around to stop balls from getting to the backstop. He's had to smother breaking balls that bounce in front of the plate. 1-1, he almost gets hit again here, 2-1. It was a long day. I think the jersey covered in dirt and silt, both on the front and the back, and both his top and his bottoms, just kind of puts it in a nutshell. A gritty kid. 2-1. Andrews swings, and it's off into the bat and foul. Andrews wanted to straighten that one out as he paces around the batter's box and digs back in at a 2-strike count. Diego Murillo stands on deck. He's having a pretty nice evening. Couple of hits, a 2 RBI double in the second and a single in the seventh. But for now, it's Andrews, the backstop from San Francisco State, now in the transfer portal. Here's the 2-2. And Andrews buckled up on a curveball for strike 3. Cam Andrews goes down looking. The Blues down to their final 2 outs in this game. A game that got out of hand quickly. I said earlier, the Blues responded to a 3-run inning in the second with their own 3 spot that tied up the game. Ardois had the cherry on top with the tying triple. But then after that, it was off to the races for the Barons. Here's Diego Murillo. He's first pitch swinging and lines it into right field, and that will go down for a base hit. He rounds first and heads into second base. The throw comes in, head first slide. The throw goes into left field, and Murillo stays on the bag. Second double of the day for Diego Murillo. And here's a guy who's kind of been vying for playing time as well on this Blues roster that is just riddled with infield talent. Murillo wants his name in that circle. So now it's the leadoff man, Sam Ardois, who hit the aforementioned game-tying triple all the way back in the second inning. That was about 3 hours and 30 minutes ago. (20-3) ball game. The Barons lead the Blues in game 1 of a 3-game road trip in SoCal. Ardois takes the first pitch for strike 1. Tomorrow, the Blues have the Orange County Riptide at Great Park, Irvine at 7 p.m. Then head up to Santa Barbara to face their foes in the Santa Barbara Foresters at 2. 0-1. Ardois takes strike 2. Sam has already struck out swinging today, along with his RBI triple. With 1 out and Murillo at second base following his double. Here's the 0-2. And Ardois leaves a sweeper low, 1-2. A good lead from Sam Ardois to leave that out pitch alone. Late in the ball game, focus starts to wear. You're trailing by 17. Could just be saying screw it at that point, but Sam with a good head on his shoulders. 1-2. Ardois, and that's a beautiful looking sweeper there taken for strike 3. Back, or 2 strikeouts in this inning where the hitters just kind of got buckled up on that slider. It looks like a good pitch from Bender. A fitting last name for Kyle as he retires 2 batters on the slider. And Brady Alves digs in. He grounded into a double play the last time he was up in the 7th. Check at second, first pitch, and Alves takes the 4-seamer for strike 1. Fastball painted on the outer corner from Kyle Bender. The stuff is there for Bender. It's a heavy fastball hissing into the mid of the catcher, Taylor. The slider is sharp. 0-1. Alves leaves it outside, evens it up at a ball and a strike. Kosei Suzuki stands on deck. Here's the 1-1. Pitch gets away, and Murillo trots into third base. Wild pitch, and the Blues have a runner on third base for the first time in 7 innings. Last time they had a runner at third, it was that triple, again, from Sam Marjoie in the second. Here's a 2-1, and Alves will take that for ball 3. The 3-1, and Alves swings and misses for strike 2. Once in the driver's seat, now having to be tough with 2. Brady Alves on a 3-2 count with 2 gone. Blues down to their last pitch in the top of the 9th. Here it comes. Well over the head of Alves, and Murillo comes in to score. And for the first time in 7 innings, the Blues have scored a run. Diego Murillo scores on the wild pitch that almost hit Brady Alves in the head. That's only the second Blues walk of the night. The only other one was Brendan Comerford in the second inning. Broken bat for Kosei Suzuki, but it bleeds into center field for a base hit. He had died a hero. Kosei Suzuki's on first base with a 2-out single. I will say I did hold that bat while it was active, Kosei's bat. And it's one of the oddest pieces of lumber I think I've ever held. It's very end-loaded, and the barrel is tiny. But I think the whole point of it is to generate a lot of whip with the end-loaded barrel and create a lot of bat speed. Worked for him. He slugged like a madman. Don Jordan puts it in play, a grounder to third, and the third baseman Nielsen will tap the bag. The game is over. At 9:37 p.m., this one is all wrapped up. It took the Blues 3 hours and 31 minutes to get it done here against the Academy Barons, and they're going to have a lot of thinking to do on their bus ride back to the hotel. They got a game tomorrow at 7 p.m. against the Orange County Riptide, and then after that, up to Santa Barbara, they go to play against the Foresters. They dropped this one big, 4-20 against the Academy Barons. They got that extra 4th run in the 9th on a wild pitch. Brady Alves came around to score. Tough one to swallow for the Blues. A lot to think about for San Luis Obispo, how they go about pitching and playing defense and even offense as they head back to the bus and into the hotel and try to wipe the memory from tonight's game. All right, that'll do it here from Compton, California. Thank you for tuning into the Slow Blues Streaming Network. My name is Nate Mills. Signing